born as twins. The younger brother is the revered reincarnation of the spirit pearl. Yet you were labeled a demon pill and imprisoned in the deep mountains for 18 years. Even when your mother came weeping, she only called to avenge the brother. But you, the demon pill locked away where not even a chicken was allowed to be killed, waited until this 18th year to finally receive a long overdue system. Run, why stop running? You've starved me for 3 days and 3 nights, yet you're still quite energetic. Li Jue stepped on the muddy ground with bare feet, with his sleeves rolled up to his elbows. He lunged and pinned the large rooster firmly beneath his knee, covered in chicken feathers on his face and head. He grinned, showing a mouth of white teeth. Today I'm definitely going to stew you. At least 3 bowls of chicken soup. Kill it. You are a demon pill. A cold, icy echo exploded in his sea of consciousness, followed by the thunderous sound of Buddhist chants. Killing is falling into evil. Falling into evil is proving your status. You were born to be a weapon of slaughter. Why bind your own hands and feet? Shut up. Li Jue spat with full impatience. Damned bald donkey. You've starved me for 3 days and 3 nights. Not even a grain of rice was sent. You won't let me kill a chicken. Is my life not a life? The more he spoke, the angrier he became. He swung the chicken by its neck into the void, as if to shake off the voice in his head along with it. In his past life, he lived even more miserably than this chicken. Raised in an orphanage, at 18, he left and dived into an assembly line, repeating the same movement 10,000 times a day for 12 hours. Hands worn to blisters, then calluses. Calluses ground away to reveal blood again, finally collapsing on the assembly line and never waking up. No funeral, no obituary. The factory found someone to replace his spot that same day. 1 human life, traded for the words resigned on a personnel file. Opening his eyes again, he became Li Jue, the eldest legitimate son of the Li family. Before he could even feel happy for half a second, he was labeled as the reincarnation of the demon pill. A group of monks in robes dragged him into the forbidden mountain area, locked away for 18 years. The charge? Born as a demon. Its sin is to be imprisoned. How old was he back then? A baby in swaddling clothes, not even weaned yet, when he was classified as the source of chaos for the world. They said he carried 9 nether demonic chi, born with a thirst for blood and slaughter. Li Jue threw the chicken down, stepped on its wing, squatted down to pluck feathers while cursing. But I, Li Jue, ask my conscience. For 18 years, I haven't even stepped on an ant on purpose. Unfortunately, no one believes it. Spirit pearl versus demon pill. 1 upright, 1 evil. 8 words written into the book of fate, set in stone. No room for argument. The younger brother, Li Yao, enjoyed fine clothes and thousands of eyes, while he was imprisoned in the wild mountains, living with chickens. The same parents, the same blood, born on the same day, yet divided by heaven and earth. Hypocrites. Li Jue gritted his teeth and boiled water. Demons in monks' robes are more sinister than a demon pill like me. While cursing, he habitually muttered in his heart, "System, come out." The standard gold finger for transmigrators. He had been calling for it for 18 years. Blood drops, meditation, head-butting walls, chanting, drawing talismans. He even tried the absurd act of washing his hair while standing on his head. Nothing worked. His mind was empty, not even a ding sound. Am I truly a defective product? A transmigrator who doesn't even get a starter pack? Just as he finished speaking, rapid footsteps echoed outside the bamboo forest. 18 years. Aside from the little novice bringing food and the old monk coming to chant purification sutras, no outsider had ever stepped foot here. Before he could stand up, a voice, familiar enough to make him tremble, pierced through the bamboo leaves. "Jue, mother has come to see you." Li Jue's hand plucking the chicken stopped abruptly. Immediately following, the voice that had been silent for 18 years in his mind, finally rang out. Ding! Key plot point detected. Mother seeking help. God-level choice system loading finished. Current status. Demon pill imprisoned for 18 years. System prompt. Host may choose. Option 1. Continue pretending to be useless. Investigate the cause of the younger brother's death after gaining mother's trust. Reward. Advanced camouflage technique. Option 2. Immediately declare your attitude. Actively demand to leave the mountain to avenge the younger brother. Reward. Blood Demon 9 turns technique. Introductory chapter. Offensive technique. Can use anger to quickly increase combat strength. Please make a choice within 10 breaths. Li Jue looked down at the half-dead rooster in his hand, then looked up at the figure stumbling towards him at the end of the bamboo forest. The corner corner of his mouth suddenly curled up slowly. 18 years. He finally waited for this moment. He squatted on the ground, wiped the corner of his mouth, and shouted, "Mother, what did you say? What happened to the younger brother? Who did it? Tell me. I will avenge you." 18 years. Over 6,000 days and nights. The memory of the word mother was left in the few times she fed him while he was an infant. After being weaned, she never came again. As for his father, Li Zhuo pulled a self-mocking smile. Never heard of him, never seen him. For 18 years, not even a shadow had touched this forbidden land. Not even a letter, not even a greeting, nothing at all. As if this eldest son didn't exist from the very beginning. Whenever the Li family mentioned their Qilin child, it was always only that younger brother, Li Yao, with the spirit pearl fate. Now, after over a decade, his mother's voice rang out again. Li Zhuo felt a movement in his heart. To say he wasn't touched would be a lie. It was a connection innate in his blood, but that touch vanished instantly, followed by the resentment piled up over 18 years. Resentment. How could he not be resentful? The ones who gave birth to him were this couple. The one who carried him for 10 months was Yang Yumei. The one who named him Li Zhuo was Li Longyue. But because of one sentence from Buddhism, this child is a demon born to the world, must be suppressed in a forbidden land. To purify demonic nature with Buddhist nature, they nodded, handed him over, treating him like a piece of old clothing stained with the plague, taking him off, throwing him into the deep mountains, and walking away without looking back. No argument, no plea, not even a single word of "this is my son, I want to take him home." They didn't believe in him, from start to finish. They only believed in Buddhism. They believed in the ethereal heavenly fate spoken by the old bald donkey. They believed in the 8 words written in the Book of Fate. Spirit Pearl is supreme good, demon is supreme evil. They just didn't believe in Li Zhuo himself. Mother believes in Buddha, not her son. Father believes in fate, not his son. 18 years of ignoring him, suddenly appearing now. Why? Li Zhuo dropped the chicken, slowly stood up, patted the mud off his knees. His gaze pierced through the bamboo forest, falling on the figure stumbling toward him. His eyes were very calm, calm without a ripple. But beneath that calmness, "Mother, what happened? Only now you remember you have a son locked in the back mountain." Before he could think further, a deep Buddhist chant sounded outside the bamboo forest. Amitba. The 4-syllable Sanskrit sound pierced the bamboo sea, like a bronze bell striking his ears, making the bamboo leaves fall in a flurry. A figure stepped out from the mountain path turn, draped in a plain monk's robe, holding a 6-ringed pewter staff, face like withered wood, eyebrows like frost and snow, gaze heavy like a mountain range. It was the high monk who had been sitting in the forbidden land for 18 years, Master Lu Deng. He stepped forward slowly, standing in the middle of the path, exactly blocking the way between Yang Yumei and the forbidden land. The 6-ringed staff tapped lightly. The ground trembled. A circle of golden Sanskrit characters spread from the staff's base, sealing the entire mountain road tightly. Benefactor Yang. Ahead is the forbidden land. Please stop. Yang Yumei stopped in her tracks. Her body swayed violently. Li Longyue, who arrived hurriedly behind her, grabbed her. The couple looked up together. Li Longyue took a deep breath, suppressing the surging emotions, and spoke first. "Master, my wife and I have come in person today, just to make it clear to you. Please lift the restriction. Release my son Li Zhuo. From now on, the contract between Buddhism and the Li family is void." 18 years. This was the first time he stood on the side of his own son, even though it was 18 years late. Master Lu Deng heard this. His expression didn't change. He didn't even lift his eyelids, only shook his head slowly. "No." 2 words. Decisive. Unquestionable. Benefactor Li. "The demon concerns the safety of the world. This is a great plan of heaven, not something you alone or your clan can decide. Even if you are Li Zhuo's biological parents, you have no right to interfere with the Buddhist decree." Li Longyue was stunned. He had lived half a life. He had seen countless unreasonable excuses, but this was the first time he heard such words. His son, he had no right to interfere. This man, as a father, couldn't decide the fate of his own flesh and blood. Then what was this father? A hollow name, a decoration. The muscles on Li Longyue's face twitched slightly, suppressing the rage in his heart. "Master Lu Deng, listen clearly. My wife and I came today, not to discuss with you. This is an order. From now on, the employment relationship between Buddhism and the Li family is terminated. Your Buddhist disciples have nothing more to do with the Li family. Now, please, get out of the Li family's forbidden land. Li family. He emphasized these two words heavily. This was the Li family's mountain, the Li family's land, private property passed down by the Li family ancestors. Buddhism was only hired by the Li family to enter this area years ago. Now the employer is kicking the guest out. It is only natural. Master Ludang remained unmoved. He put his hands together. The 6 rings on the staff tinkled. His face showed no joy or sorrow, only an unchanging compassion. That high and mighty, unquestionable compassion that looks down on all living beings. Sorry, but I cannot obey. The demon's fate is formed by the 9 nether demonic chi, the greatest variable and hidden danger under heaven. If the restriction is lifted, and he is let into the world, once the demonic nature awakens, and the heart demon loses control, it will surely bring chaos to the world, toxin to the masses. At that time, countless casualties, rivers of blood. Who will bear this sin? Benefactor Li. Can you bear it? Can the Li family bear it? Always the masses, always heaven, always that same old tune, heard for 18 years, heard until he was sick of it. Li Longyue laughed in anger. His eyes reddened suddenly. Masses, he sneered. Master keeps talking about the masses. The masses. In your eyes, there is only the masses. Fine. Then I ask you, where were you when my son Li Yao was forced to commit suicide? This sound, like a thunderclap, silenced the entire bamboo forest for a moment. Master Liudeng's joined hands paused slightly. A trace of faint surprise finally flickered on his withered face. Li Yao, the spirit pearl, dead? Li Longyue didn't give him a chance to breathe. The pain suppressed for over a decade, poured out. Don't you want to protect the masses? Don't you talk about mercy and saving all living beings? Then does my son Li Yao count as one of the masses? He was driven to a dead end by secular expectations. When he was pushed to death by his loved ones and friends. Where was your mercy? Where was your salvation? Where was the masses you protected? It was the masses you talk about who betrayed him, deceived him, humiliated him. The people who trapped him in a cage were them. They forced my son to death. He lived in the Li family for 17 years, adhering to heaven, acting with kindness, never had half a point of malice. He offered his heart to everyone, but got betrayal in return, insults, humiliation, finally, taking a knife, and slitting his own throat. He didn't even take revenge on anyone before he died. Is this the masses you protect? Is this the righteous path you talk about? Li Longyue turned to look into the forbidden land. My son Li Zhua was suppressed here since he was an infant. For 18 full years. For 18 years. Has he ever killed one person? Ever harmed one life? Ever committed one crime? No, nothing at all. You say he is a demon. Say he will be a great disaster in the future. But this future, after waiting 18 years, it never came. Yet you say he will bring chaos to the world. What is your basis? Just a single word from years ago. An ethereal prophecy. A newborn baby. And you gave him a life sentence. Is this Buddhist compassion? Is this what you call saving all living beings? Without interrogation. Without allowing a defense. Without room for explanation. Determining life and death based on a fate. Cutting off freedom. How is this different from being reckless with lives? How are you different from the devil? The bamboo forest fell into dead silence. Master Ludang stood behind the golden light barrier. His face remained calm, falling into deep thought. Li Longyue didn't stop. Master, tell me now, who is the real disaster? Spirit pearl, demon, or you high monks who speak of compassion while covering your hands with shackles? He said word by word, his tone full of cold irony. Buddhism, trash, a group of trash who only know how to bully infants. If you have the ability, go save the real demons. If you have the ability, go block the real disasters. Don't use an innocent child here to polish your compassionate monument. After he finished, silence was absolute. Master Liudeng's face turned slightly pale, and deep in the forbidden land, in front of the wooden house, Li Zhua stood still holding the half-plucked rooster, motionless. At this moment, his mind was blank. Younger brother, dead. In this world, there was was only one person, who never treated him as a demon from beginning to end. That person was Li Yao. For 18 years, the Forbidden Land was cold, with only bamboo shadows as company. Everyone looked at him with fear, disgust, or that high and mighty pity. Only Li Yao, calling him brother at every turn. Li Yao never considered himself the Spirit Pearl, nor did he look down on him with the status of a righteous genius. Every time he came, he would respectfully stand outside the barrier, first bowing, then sitting on the ground, separated by that layer of Buddhist light, chattering about the fresh things outside, trivial matters, chicken feathers and garlic skins, sitting for most of the day. Brother, this cake was made by mother. I stole a piece for you to taste. Don't tell her. Brother, that girl Lu Ruyan threw a tantrum again yesterday. Why is she so hard to please? Brother, when do you think you can come out? I want to take you to Moyun City to see the lanterns. It's so lively there. Brother, he called for 18 years, calling him as if it were only natural. He never said things like what will happen if you are a demon, or the rubbish about you need to change your ways. He just treated Li Jue as his older brother, without any prefixes, without any conditions. Sincere, heaven and earth can testify. The two brothers, although having different fates, were like flesh and blood, indestructible. Li Jue was reborn twice, orphan in the past life, alone, never understood what brotherly love was. In this life, reborn as a demon, thinking he was destined to be alone forever, but unexpectedly gained a younger brother. He never said cheesy things, but in his heart, he had long treated this kid as a real brother, closer than a real one. Now, hearing that Li Yao committed suicide, humiliated by others, betrayed by others, driven to a dead end by his loved ones and lovers, in the deep night when no one knew, slitting his own throat with a blade, blood splashing on his suicide note, never hurting anyone until the end, that silly younger brother, dead. Li Jue's head buzzed, as if something had exploded, shattering the dam of reason. A surge of anger burst from the depths of his dantian, like magma breaking through the crust, burning and intense, instantly sweeping through his limbs, the whites of his eyes stained with darkness, pupils flooded with scarlet, like two bottomless pools of blood, surging with monstrous killing intent. The demon bead that had been suppressed for 18 years, woke up at this moment. Demonic energy like ink, surged from the dantian, rushing through his meridians, breaking the hemp rope that tied his hair. Every strand of black hair started to turn white from the roots, like frost covering the peak, cold waterfalls pouring down. In an instant, it was a head of 3,000 white hairs, dancing wildly in the windless bamboo forest, killing intent like a sea, murderous heart like an abyss. He wanted to kill Lu Ruyan, kill Wang Yongcheng, kill everyone who had betrayed his brother, kill all the hypocrites in the world, to kill, to slaughter, to make those who humiliated Li Yao pay 100, 1,000 times the price. The demon roared wildly. Dark willpower rushed into his spirit, almost drowning his soul completely. Just then, he bit his tongue hard. The extreme pain flashed like lightning in his mind. The taste of blood exploded in his mouth. His spirit cleared for a moment. Li Jue closed his eyes, took a deep breath, suppressing the restless demon with the willpower of 2 lives. A moment later, white hair remained, black clothes unchanged, but deep in those scarlet eyes, there finally appeared a trace of clarity belonging to Li Jue. Not now, not yet time. 18 years of suppression didn't extinguish his demonic nature. Instead, it allowed it to settle into something purer, more terrifying. But he was not the crazy, bloodthirsty maniac the bald donkey said. The willpower of 2 lives allowed him to control this demonic body by his own strength, not losing control, not killing indiscriminately. But, not losing control, doesn't mean not killing. His brother is dead, he couldn't just stand by. Furthermore, Li Jue slowly looked up, gaze piercing through the bamboo forest, looking at the vast world outside the Forbidden Land. The mountain wind blew from outside, carrying the scent of human life, carrying the freedom he hadn't touched for 18 years. This was a chance to leave the Forbidden Land, right and proper, natural and justifiable. He wanted to return to the world. Outside the bamboo forest, the confrontation continued. Master Ludeng put his hands together, staff in front. The 6 rings sounded together. together. The Buddhist chant was deep. Young Master Li Yao is dead. Buddhism also feels regret. The spirit pearl is the orthodox path of heaven. It is a great loss for the world to pass away. But, because of this, Benefactor Li should understand. The spirit pearl is gone. If the demon loses control and enters the world again, the consequences are unimaginable. Your son's death is indeed heartbreaking, but if this causes the release of the demon, causing chaos in the world, disaster for all living beings, even Li Yao's soul in heaven might not be at peace. The tone was righteous. Every word related to the masses. Every word wrapped in righteousness. Ignoring the tears and pain of the grieving parents, Li Longyue listened, and laughed. Master is done speaking? Master Ludang lowered his eyes. I have said all I needed to say. I hope the benefactor will think twice. Li Longyue slowly looked up, eyes cold. My patience is limited. All these years, it was because I gave you too much face. This is the last chance. Get out of the way. Master Liudeng's face didn't change, but he gripped his staff tighter. Since that's the case, in an instant, a vast and majestic force of blood surged from his body. The monk's robe billowed without wind. A visible golden wave of energy exploded from his center, sweeping the bamboo leaves into the air, turning them into fragments. Tongmai Peak, Quenching Realm, Internal Energy Realm, Pulse Clearing Realm, Qi Armor Realm, Innate Realm, Grandmaster Realm, King Realm, Imperial Realm, Saint Realm. Master Liudeng's withered body seemed to grow larger by 3 points at this moment. His exposed skin glowed with a faint golden light, like it was cast in copper and iron. Benefactor Li, I have guarded this place for 18 years, under the Buddhist decree, to protect the world. If you insist on crossing this line, you are making the entire Li family an enemy of my Leyin temple. He paused, every word clear, killing intent evident. Death or end. Li Longyue listened quietly, and then laughed. Death or end. Li Longyue repeated, his laughter getting louder and louder, echoing through the entire bamboo forest. What a death or end. This is the way of Buddhism. This is your mercy that you keep talking about. I was kept in the dark by you for 18 years. You said the demon would bring chaos. I believed you. You said Buddhist teachings could save him. I believed that too. You said suppression was the only way. I accepted it. But in the end, the spirit pearl was forced to commit suicide. The demon never killed. And you, this high monk full of masses, are actually threatening me with the lives of my entire Li family. Only today do I understand. What heavenly path? What mercy? They are all excuses. Buddhism doesn't protect the masses. It protects its own face. The Li family has noted this debt. From today on, the Li family and Leyin temple are finished. Death or end. Those were your own words. I return them to you. After speaking, his Qi armor realm cultivation exploded. Li Longyue's surrounding energy surged. Robes fluttered. The blue bricks beneath his feet shattered inch by inch. A majestic and domineering aura rose to the sky, shaking the bamboo leaves above. He struck with his palm, carrying the force of the sea, pressing straight down on Ludeng. Violent winds whistled. Where it passed, the air emitted sharp explosions. Anyone who dares stop me from getting my son today, dies. Just as they were about to collide, boom, a thunderous sound exploded from deep within the forbidden land. Mountains shook. Bamboo forests collapsed. Countless birds screamed and soared into the sky. A pillar of light shot up from the direction of the wooden house, straight into the sky, tearing the clouds above into a giant vortex. In the depth of the vortex, lightning flickered. Demonic energy surged, as if some beast sleeping for 10,000 years was waking up. Master Liudeng's pupils shrank, turning his head abruptly. The golden light formation of the Buddhist sect that had imprisoned the demon for 18 years, laid by several high monks together, known as the anti-demon restriction that no evil could invade, was now cracking inch by inch. Golden light fragments peeled off like glass, turning into nothingness in midair. The formation was tottering, making sounds of unbearable strain. Boom! The second sound. The formation shattered. Golden light burst. Waves of energy emptied the air. The bamboo within 100 yards was snapped in half. Fragments flew like rain. In the smoke and dust, a slender figure stepped on the golden fragments, walking out slowly. Bald donkey, you didn't think this broken formation could really keep me? The formation, broken, the demon, actually came out. Master Liudeng's pupils shrank, involuntarily taking half a step back. The six-ringed staff slammed into the ground. The copper rings clattered. Impossible. This is the anti-demon array laid by Leyin Temple with all its resources, specially meant to suppress demon cultivators. Demons should have perished upon touching it. You are just a remnant of the demon pill. How could you break through it? He stared fixedly at the remains of the shattered barrier, trying to find a reasonable explanation. But those runes were long since dim. The formation base shattered completely, without any possibility of repair. 18 years of hard work, the foundation of Buddhist thought he relied on to break through, had turned to dust at this moment. A demon actually walked out of an anti-demon array specifically for demons. What does this mean? It means that for 18 years, this formation had never truly trapped him. So, he had been suppressed willingly. Master Liudeng's face finally changed, and on the other side, Yang Yume was already crying uncontrollably. 18 years, the last time she saw this son, was in his infancy, separated by layer after layer of Buddhist light, unable to even see his small face clearly. Now, he was standing right in front of her, within reach, that face, identical to Li Yao's. Yaoer, she sobbed, then shook her head violently, tears streaming down. No, it's Shuer, it's Shuer. She lunged forward stumbling, hands trembling as she reached for Li Jue, but stopped 3 feet away. Shuer, mother has finally seen you. 18 years, mother hasn't stopped thinking about you for a single day. Let mother take a good look at you. You've lost weight, and grown taller. How did you survive in the back mountain all these years? Are you cold? Are you hungry? Did anyone bully you? My Zhuer. Li Longyue supported his wife, silent for a moment. This Li family head, this Qi armor realm expert who had been influential in Moyun City for half a lifetime, standing before his son whom he hadn't seen for 18 years, didn't know how to speak. He looked at Li Zhue's face, identical to Li Yao's, eyes cold, the guilt, regret, self-reproach. In this moment, it surged like a mountain collapse, blocking his throat, making it hard to breathe. And then, this man who had dominated Moyun City for decades, bent his waist. I'm sorry. Li Longyue looked up, eyes red. Son, it's our fault. We shouldn't have listened to the one-sided words of Buddhism back then. Shouldn't have handed you over to them. Shouldn't have let a baby in swaddling clothes endure 18 years of imprisonment alone. In these 18 years, as a father, I haven't done my duty for a single day, haven't said a fair word for you. It was my cowardice, my confusion. I have failed you. I don't expect your forgiveness. I know I don't deserve it. But today, your father has come to take you home. From now on, whoever dares to touch a hair of yours, must step over my dead body first. Yang Yume cried, shaking all over, clinging to Li Longyue's sleeve, nodding at Li Jue. Zhuer, what your father says is true. We really know we were wrong. Come home with us, okay? Mother will make your favorite dishes. Mother will sew new clothes for you. Mother will make up for everything we owed you these 18 years. Li Jue stood quietly, expression calm, not forgiveness, but unfamiliar. But, after all, they gave birth to him. The grace of birth and 18 years of food and shelter, although forced, although in the form of imprisonment, he still counted this debt in his heart. So he stood, listened, without walking away immediately. Enough, we'll talk about these things later. 18 years of raising me, I remember this debt. No rush. After speaking, without looking at his parents' expressions, he turned around slowly, refocusing his gaze on Master Liudeng. Liudeng the bald donkey. I'm out. What now? Master Liudeng's face was ashen, hands together, staff in front. The chant rose again. He took a deep breath, suppressing the horror in his heart, and put on that compassionate facade again, voice low and pitiful. Amitba, that you could walk out of the array. Must be that the array was in disrepair after so many years. The runes were loose, and you luckily found a gap. This is my negligence. I will report it to the temple. But benefactor, you have the demon pill fate. Once you enter the world, demonic nature will erode your heart. When the urge to kill arises, how are the masses innocent? Sea of bitterness is boundless. Repentance is the shore. Before you have made any great mistakes, return to the array yourself, and I can let bygones be bygones. Repair the restriction, and continue to use Buddhist teachings to resolve your malice. Protecting your safety. Protecting my safety? Li Jue sneered. Locked me in a cage for 18 years, and you call it protecting my safety? How do you have the face to say that? Idiot. From today on, If I, Li Jue, see a Buddhist disciple, I kill one, see two, kill a pair. Every place under heaven that has the word Buddhism, I will destroy every temple I see, and your Lain temple will be the first. After speaking, he stopped talking. Li Jue's aura suddenly surged. A majestic and domineering force erupted from his dantian, rushing through his meridians to his limbs. His bones rattled, robes fluttered. Tongmai stage. Master Liudeng's face changed drastically, exclaiming, "You actually broke through to the Tongmai stage? How is this possible? How did you do it?" The path of cultivation. 9 stages are the peak. Martial Tao 9 heavens, divided into lower 3, middle 3, and upper 3 stages. Every stage is a chasm. Every crossing is a leap of life. Ordinary cultivators, from initial quenching to Tongmai, takes at least 10 years, or 20. Those with mediocre talent may never hope to reach it. Quenching realm, polishing tendons, bones, and skin. External exercise, internal strength. One punch can shatter blue bricks. Tongmai realm, opening the 8 extraordinary meridians. True energy circulates. Strength multiples. Strikes come with wind and thunder. Qi armor realm, internal energy forms an armor. External release of half a foot, forming an armor to protect the body. Impervious to knives and guns. A true expert. Looking at the 3 big families in Maoyun City, Li, Wang, Lu, the 3 heads are all Qi armor experts, dominating one side, standing for 100 years. Going up further, are the legendary middle 3 and upper 3 realms. That is a threshold ordinary martial artists can never touch in their lives. And Master Liudeng himself, 18 years ago, he was a novice just starting, sent to guard the Forbidden Land, not even a manager in the temple. In these 18 years, he sat before the array day and night, communicating with the anti-demon array with Buddhist thoughts, borrowing the demonic energy from the pill to nourish himself, refining demonic energy with a Buddhist heart, one step at a time, taking 18 full years, to climb from mid-quenching to Tongmai peak. Given 3 more years, using the remaining demonic energy as fuel, he could impact the Qi armor realm, rising to the sky in one step, and becoming a true expert. 18 years. He spent 18 years, and this demon, who was trapped in the array, with no cultivation resources, no guidance, not even a decent technique, actually broke through to the Tongmai realm, and looking at it, the state is stable, aura vigorous, not the unstable sign of a new breakthrough. This is simply inconceivable. Not only Master Liudeng was stunned, even Li Longyue and Yang Yume were all frozen. Zhuo, Li Longyue's pupils shook. You broke through to the Tongmai realm? Yang Yume covered her mouth, surprised and happy, tears streaming down again. Zhuo, how did you do it? For these 18 years, weren't you trapped in the array? Where did you get the techniques? Where did you get the pills? Where? Li Jue didn't answer, slowly raised his hands, dark red demonic patterns flowing beneath his skin. The moment he clenched his fist, the air emitted a dull explosion. Between his fingers, dragon and tiger roars overflowed. Dragon-tiger fist, not a profound technique, just a set of moves taught by an old gatekeeper at the orphanage in his past life. Said it was passed down by his ancestors, could strengthen the body. He practiced for 3 years in his past life, and achieved nothing. In this life, in the Forbidden Land for 18 years, with nothing to do, he practiced every day, until the moves were integrated into his bones and blood, until his breathing matched his fist, until even the rebellious demon pill had to cooperate with his rhythm to circulate energy. No technique, then create your own. No pills, then use demonic energy to quench the body. No guidance, then use 18 years of loneliness as a whetstone, cutting himself into the sharpest blade. Want to know how I did it? Li Jue smiled slightly, his expression icy. You squatted on my head and sucked cultivation for 18 years, so you won't allow me to borrow a bit of your Buddhist intent? You use demonic energy to refine your Buddhist heart. I will use Buddhist intent to quench my demon body. You practice your Buddha, I refine my demon, based on our own abilities. Why not? Master Liudeng's pupils shrank. You have been absorbing the Buddhist power of the array? Otherwise? Li Jue sneered. You thought I was sleeping in there for 18 years? After speaking, his figure disappeared from the spot. When he reappeared, he was within 7 steps of Master Liudeng. Both fists struck out. Fist energy hadn't arrived. Fist wind was already there. Left fist like a dragon. Fist force winding 9 times. Energy overlapping, like an angry dragon leaving the abyss, devouring heaven and earth. Right fist like a tiger. fist force fierce and domineering, strength penetrating thousands of pounds, like a tiger coming down a mountain, unstoppable. The sounds of dragons and tigers roared in the bamboo forest. The air was torn by the fist energy, emitting a sharp whistle. The ground swept by the fist wind, soil rolled, fragments shot out. Dragon Tiger Fist, self-created Dragon Tiger Fist. Master Liudeng's face was heavy, not daring to slacken, holding the six-ringed staff horizontally in front, reciting the Vajra mantra. Buddhist light surged around him, forming a faint golden protective shield. The fist energy hit the shield, emitting the sound of gold and iron, sparks flying, energy surging, blowing away the broken bamboo and leaves. Tongmai Peak Versus. Initial Tongmai. The outcome was clear. Master Liudeng's Buddhist light was like a copper wall. The Dragon Tiger Fist was fierce, but couldn't shake its foundation. He fought steadily, using his deep foundation, resolving Li Jua's attack step by step, counterattacking. The staff swept across, Buddhist light like a hammer. Every counterattack carried the force of suppressing demons, forcing Li Jua to retreat repeatedly. Benefactor, you are indeed extraordinarily talented, actually able to break through to Tongmai in the array. I admire you. Master Liudeng held the upper hand, his tone recovering that calm and pitiful style. But between initial and peak Tongmai, there is a gap. Your foundation is not stable, technique not complete, just relying on a bit of ruthlessness. How long can you last? Li Jua was shaken back several steps by his staff, plowing two deep grooves on the ground. A wisp of dark red blood spilled from the corner of his mouth, but he didn't care at all, wiping it off with the back of his hand. Amidst the messy white hair, the killing intent in his multicolored pupils was even more intense. Last how long? Bald donkey, you've lived for so long, still don't understand one principle. The demon never plays defense. After speaking, he advanced instead of retreating. Fist struck out again, using an attack with attack and injury for injury desperate style. The sound of dragon and tiger roars grew even more intense. Fist shadows heavy, striking Master Liudeng like a rainstorm, completely ignoring the bloodstains left by the staff on his body. He never wanted compromise, but to kill. Demon. Master Liudeng stabilized his figure. Six-ringed staff held in front of his chest, golden light flowing, chants continuous. Put down the butcher's knife, and become a Buddha. The voice was deep and slow, every word like a bell, carrying 10,000 feet of Buddhist light, wanting to save this lost lamb. Benefactor, your demonic nature is not deep, there is still a chance to turn back. Surrender now, and I can chant for you for 7 days, to wash away your malice with Buddhist law, and help you return to the right path. Otherwise, the demonic root will grow deep, and there will be no way back. At that time, not only will you sink, but the entire Li family will fall into eternal damnation because of you. Li Jua listened, without getting angry, didn't even frown. Put down the butcher's knife, and become a Buddha. Sounds better than it's sung, but I ask you, whose blood has this knife in my hand touched, and whose crime is this demon you speak of? Liudeng opened his mouth to speak, but was interrupted by him waving his hand. Buddha or demon, why is it your decision? You say I am a demon, then I am a demon. You say I am a Buddha, then I am a Buddha. What are you? What kind of person I, Li Jua, am? Is it your place to decide? I never killed an innocent person, but was imprisoned for 18 years. You talk about compassion, but use an infant as a stepping stone to practice your Buddha. If you count as a Buddha, then all the demons in the world are cleaner than you 100 times. You are not a Buddha. You are a devil in a monk's robe. Your mercy is a knife. Your salvation is a lock. Your heavenly path and the masses are all excuses for your own desires. The face of Buddhism was lost by a bald donkey like you. Before he finished speaking, Li Jua's hands formed a seal. The temperature in the bamboo forest dropped. A layer of blood-colored frost condensed on the ground. The air filled with a strong smell of rust. Infinite blood demon. Burn. A low roar, tearing from the deepest part of his chest. In an instant, Li Jua's pupils completely turned scarlet. White hair stood on end. Dark red demonic patterns appeared under his skin, like hell's magma surging in his veins. A violent aura almost out of control exploded from his body, blowing away all broken bamboo and stones within dozens dozens of yards. Demonic energy condensed into a thin layer of blood-colored armor around him, clinging to his skin, reflecting an eerie dark red light in the moonlight. Pain perception reduced. Speed surged. Power soared. Every breath seemed to swallow the killing intent of heaven and earth into his lungs. Stop killing with killing. Like a mad demon, playing ghosts and gods. Master Lu Deng snorted. Staff slammed. Buddhist light surged. Fine. Today let the world see whether you, Li Jue, are human or demon. The mantra in his mouth was like thunder. The golden light around him condensed into a Buddha statue nearly a zhang tall, striking with a palm, the palm print like a mountain, carrying the Buddhist intent to purify all evil. Suppressing down towards Li Jue. Li Jue didn't dodge. Looking up, facing the golden palm print that covered the sky, there was no fear in his scarlet pupils, only excitement. The figure disappeared from the spot, speed so fast that only a blood-colored shadow remained in the air. The golden palm print missed, creating a deep pit several yards wide on the ground, stones flying, and he had already appeared on the left of Master Lu Deng, striking with a fist energy carrying intense blood evil, smashing into the Buddhist light shield, emitting a metallic crunch. Attack failed to break it. He didn't stop. Figure disappeared again, left side, right side, head, behind. Within 3 breaths, Li Jue struck 36 punches from all directions, every punch precisely on the same point, every punch carrying the violent power of the infinite blood demon state. The Buddhist light shield shook violently, cracks spreading like spider webs. Master Lu Deng looked terrified. He found he couldn't keep up with Li Jue's speed, no matter how deep the foundation of Tongmai Peak was. Against this desperate speed and power, he began to struggle. Li Longyue stood outside the circle, watching his son's mad figure weaving between golden light and blood mist, heart beating wildly. Zhuo, actually able to demonize. Sure enough, the name of the demon pill wasn't called for nothing. Others seeing this scene, might fear, might detest, might think this child shouldn't be left, but Li Longyue didn't care. He had only one thought in his mind now. The stronger, the better. Only when Zhuo is stronger, do we have the capital for revenge. Only when Zhuo is crueler, can those who forced Yaoer to death pay the price. As for other people's views, as for the righteous or demonic path, to hell with it. He only wants to slaughter the Wang and Lu families. Let that pair of dogs kneel before Yaoer's shrine. Blood debt repaid with blood. Well fought, Zhuo. Don't hold back. Hit him to death. On the battlefield, Li Jue's attack didn't slow down at all. In the infinite blood demon state, pain was suppressed. Only killing intent could be felt. The Buddha in your mouth is the one who convicts infants, defends the wicked, takes shackles as mercy. Another punch, smashing into the staff held by Lu Deng, sparks flying. The staff bent into a shocking arc. Your heavenly path is the one that forced the spirit pearl to commit suicide. Let the demon pill be punished innocently, and let the real murderers walk free. Master Lu Deng stumbled back, blood spilling from his mouth. The calm and pitiful mask finally shattered completely, revealing the terror beneath. This kind of Buddha, this kind of heaven, deserves to let me turn back. He didn't give Lu Deng any chance to breathe. Right foot stomped the ground. Figure ejected like a cannonball, leaving a spider web-like crack in the spot. Speed so fast that a sharp sonic boom exploded in the air. The whole person turned into a blood-colored lightning bolt, straight for Liu Deng's center. Right fist pulled to the waist. Demonic energy frantically poured in. A layer of dark red crystals condensed on the fist, reflecting an eerie light in the moonlight. Dragon Tiger fist final form. Black Tiger digging the heart. Master Liu Deng's pupils trembled, wanted to dodge, but found his aura had long been locked. Nowhere to escape. He put all his strength into lifting the staff, pouring his lifelong cultivation into it. Golden light flourished, attempting to block this fatal blow. Fist arrived. Staff broke. The sound of flesh being pierced was dull and short. Li Jue's fist penetrated Master Liu Deng's chest, passing through his back. Dark red demonic energy spread frantically along the wound, shattering all his internal organs. Master Liu Deng's body shook violently, stiff in place. The staff slipped from his hand, falling to the ground with a clatter. 6 copper rings shattered together. You cannot kill me. You will regret this. My master, my brothers, the entire Lei temple, will not let you go. Demon, the world, will not let you go. Li Jue looked at him expressionlessly, without wavering. 1 comes, I kill 1. 2 come, I kill a pair, until I kill every single one of you. All of you. Master Liu Deng's eyes faded completely. I, even as a ghost, will not let you go. After speaking, his arm fell powerlessly. his body fell backward, hitting the ground and kicking up dust, dead with eyes wide open. Obviously, only 3 years. 3 years of refining Buddhist thoughts, and he could have stepped into the Chi armor realm, becoming a true expert. 18 years of hard work, wasn't it for that day? But in the end, falling short, dying at the hands of someone he imprisoned for 18 years. Fortune is fickle. Cause and effect are real. Li Jue slowly pulled out his fist, flicking the blood off his hand. His white hair and black clothes were covered in mottled blood, indistinguishable whether it was Liudeng's or his own. Just then, in his mind, a cold mechanical voice rang out. Ding dong. Target successfully killed for the first time. Demon Pill System awakening conditions met. Congratulations to the host for awakening. Demon Pill System. Li Jue was stunned, frowning. System. He had called for 18 years, tried 10,000 methods to wake it up, but it actually awakened at this moment. The triggering condition of this system was too evil. Core rules of this system are as follows. For every target the host kills, the number of souls in the target's hands is converted into an equivalent amount of evil turbidity value. Evil turbidity value can be used to exchange for cultivation, upgrade technique grades, increase magic skill proficiency, refine pills, quench the body, etc. Extra incentive. Accumulate 10,000 evil turbidity points, and you can randomly draw one super trump card. Trump card content is unpredictable. No grade ceiling. Master Liudeng's body was still warm, blood winding along the cracks in the forbidden bricks. Next moment, Li Jue's face twisted. 18 years. Do you know how I got through these 18 years? Li Jue let go of his hair, opened his arms and laughed to the sky. Demon Pill System. Late by a full 6,000 nights. He had long given up and accepted his fate, accepting that he was a defective product among transmigrators, an unlucky mortal without a gold finger. But just when his hands were stained with blood, turning into a demon in the eyes of the world, the system arrived late. How ironic. Laughing at the system being half a lifetime late, mourning that this opportunity finally descended. Not far away, Li Longyue and Yang Yume were completely frozen, looking at their son shouting insanely, heart restless. This child is afraid he's gone mad. Li Longyue frowned tightly, lowly muttering, even as a head of a family, a Chi armor expert, he couldn't help but feel terrified at this scene. 18 years of imprisonment, breaking the array and killing a Tongmai Peak High monk in one go. Mental breakdown was quite normal. Yang Yume wiped her tears, actually very determined. No, Zhuo is just normal. The demon pill is originally like this. Li Longyue's mouth twitched, wanting to speak but stopping, sighing at last. Fine, let him calm down. This child has been suppressed for too long. He needs a place to vent. No one noticed. His eyes had long been red. Just then, a cold mechanical voice rang in Li Jue's mind. Ding. Host killed target. Master Liudeng. Detection complete. Target sin assessment. Buddhist practitioner. Carries 3 innocent lives. 12 years ago, unjustly abolished the dantian of an herb-gathering youth, resulting in death. 8 years ago, due to a dispute over Buddhist theory, seriously injured a rogue cultivator, resulting in death. 3 years ago, to cover up the formation's location, shattered the heart meridians of an elderly woman who accidentally broke into the Forbidden Land. Verdict: 3 crimes combined, converted to 3 points of evil turbidity. Host panel updated. Host: Li Jue. Realm: Initial Tongmai. Cultivation points: 1985/5000. Evil turbidity: 3. Technique: Dragon Tiger Fist. No grade. Upgradable. Magic skill: none. Li Jue instantly calmed down. The madness faded. Only silence remained. Killing a high monk actually earned evil turbidity. 3 points of value, corresponding to 3 innocent lives. The system's data never lied. Tearing off Master Liudeng's compassionate mask. Herb-gathering youth. Disputing rogue cultivator. Innocent old woman. The 3 never did evil, but because they hindered the Buddhist sect's face, they were brutally slaughtered. This way of acting is so similar to the methods used to frame and imprison me years ago. Li Jue raised his eyes, looking at the monk's corpse on the ground. A sharp irony curled his lips. Sanctimonious. Sure enough, this is Buddhism's skill. full of masses and heavenly path. Hands stained with blood debt, talking about destiny to the weak, killing the innocent. This is the compassion and salvation you boast of, he sneered, kicking the broken copper rings into the mud. Ridiculous. The world curses me as a demon, but in the end, cleaning up sins and doing justice, is me, and you righteous Buddhist sects, are all beasts in clothing. Discarding distracting thoughts, Li Zhuo focused on the dark virtual panel in his mind. Initial Tongmai, 1985 cultivation points, 15 points away from the next realm. He quickly reviewed his own cultivation progress, accidentally entering the Forbidden Land at 12.5. No guidance, no pills, no orthodox techniques, only absorbing spiritual energy with the demon pill constitution. Day after day of hard practice, only increasing 1 point per day. At this rate, breaking through to Qi Armor Realm would take another 8 years. By then he would be 26. 26 reaching Qi Armor Realm, in Moyun City and even the Haoyue Empire, would be an outstanding genius. Even Master Lu Deng, who relied on the massive resources of Leiyin Temple, took 28 years to reach Tongmai Peak. But Li Zhuo couldn't wait. His brother's blood feud, persecution by the Wang and Lu families, revenge of Leiyin Temple, wouldn't give him 8 years to hibernate. Time dragging on, enemies might die, or run away. By then, talking about revenge, would be meaningless. Only by quickly breaking through to Qi Armor Realm, could he have the foundation for revenge. 3 points of evil turbidity, worth 3 days of hard work. Killing one sinful monk saved 3 days. This path of becoming stronger, was far faster than rigid cultivation. Li Zhuo's eyes brightened. A clear path of cultivation formed in his heart. Kill the wicked, accumulate evil turbidity, stockpile evil turbidity, explode in cultivation. Ordinary cultivation is a slow stream. He uses killing to ask for the path, surging forward. The mere Ludeng at Tongmai Peak, had 3 points of income for 3 sins. Moyun City had stood for 100 years. The big families whose hands were stained with blood, those wolves and leopards in righteous clothes, how deep must their sins be? Killing them, how much opportunity could be gained? This demon pill system, was clearly an instrument of revenge tailored for him. Ask heaven by killing, wash away grievances with blood, control evil with evil, break evil with violence. This is the demon's path. Li Zhuo exhaled. The madness in his eyes faded. Just as he was about to move, a crisp sound came from before him. Yang Yume, the wife of the prestigious Li family head, knelt on both knees, crying and trembling. Zhuo, mother is sorry for you. 18 years. Mother listened to the one-sided words of Buddhism, abandoning my flesh and blood in a lonely forbidden land, ignoring you, leaving you alone. You were the child mother carried for 10 months, endured pain to give birth to, but mother was foolish and cowardly, afraid of the Buddhist sect, afraid of harming the family, worrying about the younger child, retreating time and again, not daring to come and find you. Mother couldn't dare think how you survived these 18 years, whether hungry or cold, sick and dependent. Mother has 10,000 excuses, but not even a face to beg for your forgiveness. But your brother was innocent. He always thought of you from childhood to adulthood. Others avoided you like a plague. Only he secretly saved cakes, running to the Forbidden Land to visit you. He was the only person in this world besides you and me, who treated you with love. Now he died unjustly, dead without a whole body. Yang Yume's cry was piercing, almost a roar. Mother doesn't beg for your understanding, only beg you to avenge your brother who died miserably. After speaking, she prostrated again, crying bitterly, her thin body trembling in the wind. Mother, beg you. Li Longyue stood still, looking at his wife crying and kneeling, painful to death. He lived his life, having no regrets, never bowing to anyone. As the head of the Li family, the first among the 3 families of Moyun City, top expert of Qi Armor Realm, holding power for decades, his spine inherited the Li family motto, only bowing to heaven, ground, ancestors, never an exception. But at this moment, looking at Li Zhuo in white hair and black clothes, covered in blood, suddenly felt, these knees, are not impossible to bend. Wrong, is wrong. 18 years of late debt, if I don't even dare to kneel, how can I talk about acknowledging mistakes? Li Longyue lifted his robe, knees landing steadily, quietly kneeling beside his wife Yang Yume. Son, Li Longyue spoke, voice rough, father knows he was wrong. Back then, Ludeng the bald donkey slandered you as a demon pill, claiming he would suppress you. Father believed it. He said Buddhism could save you. Letting you out would surely bring chaos. Father was afraid, cowardly, personally nodded. That one nod. Wasted 18 years of your life. For 18 years, I lived as the Li family head, full of glory. You were trapped in a broken house on the back mountain, living in misery. At the family banquet, everyone praised the Li family's Qilin child, Li Yao. No one remembered you, the eldest son, and the one who should have remembered you the most. I personally abandoned you. I am your father. The day you were born, I stood outside the door, clearly heard your first cry, held you personally, named you, but in the end, it was also me, who personally pushed you into the abyss. Li Longyue looked up, voice trembling, every word resonant. Father doesn't ask for your forgiveness. I don't deserve it. You don't acknowledge us. We accept it. You don't want to let go. We won't force you. I only ask you for one thing, for the sake of your brother, avenge him. Mentioning Li Yao, his voice choked up. Your mother and I are at your disposal. Kill or cut, as you wish. From now on, the Li family is yours. We have no half-word of complaint. The position of family head, I will resign immediately. My life, you can take it at any time. Only your brother's revenge. Father begs you, must avenge him. After speaking, he bowed his head, bumping heavily on the blue bricks, making a dull sound. This kneel, irrelevant to the power of the family head, fearless of the demon pill's prestige, just a father who owed his son 18 years, making amends to his own flesh and blood. Yang Yume was already crying until she almost fainted, silently kneeling beside her husband, bowing deeply. Clear moonlight fell, broken bamboo shadows swayed. The couple knelt before the child they hadn't seen for 18 years, humble into the dust. Li Zhuo raised an eyebrow, a bit surprised in his heart. In his impression, this father was always rigid and distant, focusing on so-called big picture, always following the Buddhist sect's lead. He thought he would at most lower his head and apologize, never thought he would kneel and kowtow, even willing to give up the Li family's power. This sincerity, indeed, exceeded expectations, but only that. Looking at the couple kneeling before him, no feeling of revenge in his heart, nor a trace of softness of release, only calm and practical weighing. Avenge Li Yao was his predetermined obsession. Bonds of two lives. That teenager who was the only one who treated him sincerely, calling him brother, was his most cherished relative in this life. He wouldn't let go of anyone who hurt Li Yao, since revenge was inevitable. Taking this 18-year-old apology was actually heart-saving/easier. From now on, when he takes charge of the Li family, there will be no more interference, and no need to deal with their endless guilt and entanglement. Fine, Li Zhuo replied solemnly, tone flat, without bending down to help, nor saying a word of hypocritical forgiveness. Hypocritical warmth was meaningless. He couldn't give it. The other party didn't deserve it. But I never forgave you. His tone turned cold. From now on, everything I do has nothing to do with you. What I want to do, who I want to kill, how I do it, you have no right to ask, no right to interfere. Yang Yume nodded quickly with tears streaming down, tone urgent and earnest. We won't ask, never interfere. As long as you are willing to avenge Yao, mother will support whatever you do. I will never believe Buddhism half a word again, never block you again. Li Longyue stood up, old tears streaming, voice excited and trembling. Zhuo, come home with father. 18 years. You should have come home long ago. Your courtyard has always been saved for you, just next door to Yao. Someone cleans it every day. Always clean. Come home with father. Okay? Home. Staying in an orphanage in his past life. Trapped in a broken room in the forbidden land in this life. He never had a real home. But looking at Li Longyue's old and haggard face, red and sore eyes, he didn't refute. After a brief silence, he avoided the topic of going home, softly said, I want to see my brother one last time. Li Longyue shook all over, nodding heavily, voice choked. Fine, father will take you. Li Yao's memorial hall was set in a remote courtyard deep in the Li family. Doors and windows closed, the room full of white funeral banners, daring not to light candles here, daring not to burn paper, daring not to make any sound of crying. A Li family heir, a spirit pearl genius respected by the world, after passing away, couldn't even have a decent funeral. The Li family deliberately hid his death, just to keep the family prestige, not giving the Wang and Lu families a chance, even if dead, had to hide in the shadows. shadows, enduring humiliation without a sound. Li Jue stepped into the memorial hall, steps stopping abruptly. In the center of the hall stood a coffin, the lid half open, plain white brocade laid inside. Li Yao lay quietly in the coffin, white clothes clean, hands folded on his chest, expression peaceful, as if in a deep sleep. But that face, identical to his, was pale and bloodless, lips covered in dead gray, a deep knife mark on his neck, although hidden by the collar, still revealed a hideous dark red. Shocking. Li Jue stood before the coffin, motionless for a long time. Countless small warm images flooded his mind. Finally, gaze moved down slowly, falling on Li Yao's chest. Pupils shrank violently. Li Jue raised his hand abruptly, pushed aside the clothes on the boy's chest. Beneath the brocade, a hideous hole the size of a fist appeared in the center of the chest. The wound edges were rough and dark red, traces of dried spiritual energy remaining around. This was not caused by a knife or sword. It was someone using a powerful force, digging it out from the inside. Method rough and cruel, without a trace of mercy. Li Jue's arm froze in midair, voice icy cold. Where is the spirit pearl in his body? Li Longyue and Yang Yume looked puzzled, looking at each other, both confused. Spirit pearl? What spirit pearl? Monstrous killing intent surged in his chest. Li Jue forcibly suppressed the restlessness, trying to steady his voice. I carry the demon heart of the demon pill origin. You and I both know. As a source-sharing companion for me, Li Yao must have a spirit pearl in his body. Someone, on his body, dug out the spirit pearl. This wasn't done after death. It was dug out raw while he was alive. After speaking, Yang Yume shook violently, body going soft, eyes going black. If not for Li Longyue supporting her, she would have collapsed. Li Longyue turned ashen, dead gray. In other words, before Yaoer passed away, besides the knife wound, also suffered the extreme torture of having his pearl dug out and heart picked. The memorial hall fell into dead silence, candlelight flickering, the figures of the three twisting and breaking, air suffocating. Li Jue clenched his fists, bones rattling, white hair flying wildly without wind, black demonic energy surging, blowing the funeral banners. He lowered his voice, every word ground from the depths of his flesh. The person who did it while he was alive, digging out the spirit pearl raw. Brother. The coffin was cold, candlelight flickering. Li Jue leaned over, examining the texture of the wound carefully. The wound was irregular and radial, tearing from inside the chest, bones broken, edges covered with faint high-temperature burn marks. This was not caused by ordinary knives, ordinary weapons cut from outside in. The cut would be smooth, but this wound was clearly forced by thick energy, forcibly cutting/dissecting open the chest, separating the spirit pearl from the body. Even more shocking was, on the inside of Li Yao's ribs, 5 deep finger marks were clearly imprinted. Someone had reached into the chest with 5 fingers. Qi armor realm, at least peak Qi armor realm, or even higher. Li Jue's pupils shrank. Now his cultivation was only initial Tongmai, but he had read many cultivation classics in his past life, and knew the cultivation system well. Ordinary Qi armor experts only can internal energy form an armor, external release of half a foot, attached to fists, feet, or weapons. Only peak Qi armor experts, or those who broke through to innate, can do internal energy penetration, destroying tendons, bones, and organs from within. Innate realm, true energy forms Yuan, borrowing heaven and earth power, strength far exceeding Qi armor. Above that was Grandmaster realm, able to establish a sect, even in the vast Haoyue Empire. Our top figures, but his brother was only a Tongmai cultivator. How could he provoke such terrifying experts? Li Jue slowly withdrew his hand, gently covering his brother's chest, actions light and slow. The killer is at least peak Qi armor realm, very likely an innate expert. The heads of the 3 big families in Maoyun City all stopped at Qi armor. Without innate experts to guard, the killer is definitely not from here. Li Longyue beside him shook all over, frowning tightly, falling into extreme contemplation. He stood staring at the coffin, looking at the young son's pale and peaceful remains. Disordered memories surged fast. Suddenly, a frozen memory fragment flashed. He looked up abruptly, voice trembling. Tiangang Gate. Yang Yume and Li Jue looked over together. 2 years ago, Yao joined Tiangang Gate, returning after a year of training. His experiences back then he never wanted to talk about, only saying everything was fine. I only thought his training was hard. Didn't ask much. Now thinking about it, his spirit pearl fate was special. Being coveted by someone. The only opportunity was at Tiangang Gate. Li Jue nodded slightly. Gaze deep. Exactly. With his status and cultivation. Protected by the family in Moyun City. The three families check and balance each other. No one dared to attack the Li family heir. But at Tiangang Gate, he was just one of thousands of ordinary disciples, possessing a peerless spirit pearl, without enough strength or backing, equivalent to holding jade and inviting sin, slaughtered at will. Yang Yume cried, "It's all your fault. Back then I didn't agree to him joining Tiangang Gate, but you wouldn't listen, talking about future training. Look now." Yao had his pearl dug out, suffered humiliation, and after returning, hid it without saying, finally forced to a dead end by others. You only know how to let people endure. Take care of the big picture. But who protects your son? You didn't dare take revenge, didn't dare resist, endured for 18 years, and finally endured until your youngest son died miserably, not even daring to hold a proper funeral. Li Longyue, do you truly deserve to be a father, to be a husband? Li Longyue turned ashen, lips moving, unable to argue a single word. He knew his wife's words were true. Tiangang Gate passed down for 300 years. Foundation vast. The sect leader was an innate peak expert. Elders were all Qi armor realm experts. Any one of them could crush the three families of Moyun City. Back then he spent all his connections and resources to exchange for his youngest son the opportunity to join the sect, originally paving a bright future. Who knew he personally pushed the child into the abyss? Moyun City's structure was small, but no one dared to hurt the Li family heir. But the mighty Tiangang Gate, unable to protect a youth carrying the spirit pearl, even if he exhausted the power of the entire clan to take revenge, it would still be like throwing an egg against a rock. A mantis trying to stop a chariot. All the helplessness, transformed into unspoken guilt. The morning hall was dead silent. Only the crackling of candle flames, intermingled with Yang Yume's suppressed sobbing. The heavy atmosphere made one almost unable to breathe. Li Jue stood quietly by the coffin, watching his parents' sorrowful argument. His expression remained calm and rippleless, yet deep in his heart, monstrous waves surged. The spirit pearl stolen, cultivation completely destroyed. For Li Yao, who was proud and resilient by nature, it was a blow that crushed everything, falling into the dust overnight. Reduced to a cripple with regressing cultivation, he never complained to his family, swallowing all humiliation and pain alone, pretending to return unscathed. But fate did not treat him kindly. Betrayed by his loved one, his closest friend turned against him. Those he treated with an open heart, finally joined hands to push him into a desperate situation. A short life, shackled by destiny, the sinister nature of human hearts, burdened by all kinds of bitterness. The desperate youth finally chose to cut his own throat with a blade, ending his life. Until death, he never hurt anyone. Li Jue closed his eyes, took a deep breath, forcing the monstrous killing intent surging in his chest to be pressed deep into his heart. Enough, be it Tiangang Gate, or an innate expert, even if it was done by the King of Heaven himself, I will slay them all. Grieved but never saying a word, stolen of the spirit pearl but silent, betrayed but offering no defense, pushed to the end but not resisting. You guarded your inherent kindness and lived like a saint, but you were also flesh and blood. You should have resented, should have hated, should have made the enemies pay 100-fold. Yet you chose to end it all with death, leaving all the blood feud completely to me. If it were him, Li Jue, being robbed of the spirit pearl, he would surely dissect their hearts and bowels. Betrayed, he would surely make them regret for a lifetime. Pushed to the end, he would surely kill until the world was turned upside down, letting no one in the world dare to bully him again. But Li Yao was not him, the gentle and pure youth. Up until death, he strictly adhered to the kindness of the spirit pearl, not staining himself with a trace of evil intent. Just then, rapid and panicked footsteps broke the silence of the morning hall. A maid with messy hair, and a deathly pale face, stumbled into the door, ignoring etiquette, kneeling down with a thud. Master, mistress, this is bad. The Lu family is coming to cause trouble again. Li Jue was puzzled. The Lu family is causing trouble again? Speak clearly. Master Li, explain the situation. The cold Master Li pierced into Li Longyue's heart like a fine needle, full of sourness and loss surging endlessly. 18 years of debt stood between father and son. This distant form of address was self-inflicted, but the crisis crisis outside was imminent, not allowing him to drown in his emotions. Li Longyue suppressed all the bitterness, and spoke in a deep voice about the Liu family's constant pressure over the years. In these years, the Liu family used the engagement between Liu Ruyan and Yao to constantly provoke and probe, eroding the Li family's bottom line. Li Longyue's voice was low. At first, it was just minor matters of servants crossing boundaries and clan members quarreling. I considered the rivalry between the younger generation, not wanting to bully the small with the big, and chose to endure, but blind concession only resulted in their further encroachment. The Liu family wantonly ate and took without pay in the Li family's shops, smashing and causing trouble at the slightest dissatisfaction. Later, they became even more unscrupulous, forcibly seizing the Li family's property, expelling staff, changing plaques. Just last year alone, 3 cloth shops in the east of the city, and 2 grain shops were all taken. The medicine shop in the west was the most tragic. The Liu family forged land deeds, forcibly occupying ancestral property, forcing the old manager to hang himself in hatred, and he died without getting justice. All of this happened while the engagement was still in effect. Liu Ruyan relied on Yao's persistence in the engagement, certain that the Li family would not dare to rip their faces off. Every time they caused a major disaster, they would pretend to apologize, fobbing it off with a few words, but committing mistakes every time, becoming even more rampant. The arrogance grew increasingly intense. Yang Yumei beside him was already in tears, sobbing uncontrollably. 3 months ago, Liu family servants molested a 13-year-old girl of the Li family on the street. Yao stepped in to stop it, only to be surrounded by Liu family guards. The leader insulted him as a loser in public, unworthy of Liu Ruyan, occupying the engagement and refusing to let go. Yao was pointed at by thousands, humiliated in public, his face pale, but he didn't argue back at all. That night he locked himself in his room, refusing to eat or drink. I knocked on the door to comfort him. He only smiled and said he was fine, but I clearly saw, his hands hidden in his sleeves, were trembling non-stop. Yang Yumei could not go on, collapsing on Li Longyue's shoulder, her whole body convulsing, wailing. Li Longyue took over, voice dry. Since then, the Liu family became even more rampant. Yao never compromised, but never fought back either. He only endured blindly. Endured until the Liu family determined the Li family was weak and easy to bully. Endured until the retainers and students lost heart. Endured until the Li family's half-life foundation was eroded away, falling from the head of the 3 clans to the current precarious state. Li Zhuo listened quietly, silent for 3 breaths. The next instant, he suddenly laughed. So, my younger brother's fiancée connives with her maiden family to bully her husband's family, forcibly occupies property, forces people to their deaths, and insults people in public, while Li Yao, from beginning to end, endures blindly, and never resists. Why? 3 words fell, resonant and ear-piercing. Li Zhuo looked up, demonic energy surging around his body, causing the white cloth in the morning hall to flutter wildly. Never seen such an arrogant fiancée, conniving with her maiden family to erode the husband's foundation before even marrying in. This is not a marriage alliance. It is colluding with outsiders. It is bullying with power. To what extent was Li Yao deeply in love, that he was willing to suffer such humiliation? Li Longyue remained silent, glancing at Yang Yumei, who had stopped crying, their expressions complex. After a long while, he sighed heavily, and told the truth. Yao did not have deep, soul-stirring feelings for Liu Ruyan. They were childhood sweethearts, with some affection, but far from being the only one he would marry. Li Zhuo's brows furrowed. Not deeply in love, then why endure humiliation and bear the burden of shame, dying to keep this engagement? Because of you. Li Zhuo was suddenly stunned, full of confusion, blurting out, because of me? He pointed at himself, then looked at his younger brother sleeping peacefully in the coffin, his mind in chaos. He had been imprisoned in the deep mountains for 18 years, isolated from the world, never met Liu Ruyan, and never interfered with the family engagement. How could his brother's endurance have anything to do with him? Yang Yumei wiped away her hot tears, voice choked. The Liu family has a family heirloom, called the Jichen Fu Xie jade. This jade comes from ancient ruins, can calm the mind and spirit, suppress evil spirits, eliminate inner demons, and is an unparalleled treasure for suppressing demonic energy, ensuring that a cultivator does not fall into demonic obstacles. A word awakened the dreamer. An absurd yet incredibly bitter truth slowly took shape in Li Jue's mind. Yao agreed to this engagement, and endured all humiliation, just to trade for this piece of jade. Yang Yumei's tears poured down, voice trembling. He thought, as long as he held the Jichen Fu Xie jade, he could suppress the demonic nature in your body, stop the gossiping mouths of the world, and help you escape the deep mountain prison, regain freedom, and live a stable life. In his heart, as long as he could exchange it for you to be safe, and see the light of day again, no matter how many grievances he suffered, or how much bitterness he ate, he was willing. The morning hall instantly became dead silent. The youth endured for years, endured all bullying, suffered all humiliation, willing to be manipulated, willing to be consumed, just to save up the only bargaining chip that could redeem his brother. But in the end, the engagement was trampled at will. His protective spirit pearl was dug out. His plans, into which he poured everything, all fell through. Not only did it not exchange for his brother's freedom, but it buried his own life instead. Until death, he did not wait for Li Jue's release from prison. Li Jue stood in place, dazed, 1,000 words choked in his chest. The previous hate for his lack of backbone, the full heart of frustration, all turned into bone-chilling guilt. He had been narrow-minded and jealous, both having the Li family bloodline. He was trapped in the deep mountains, suffering imprisonment and torture, without seeing the sun, while Li Yao, as a heaven's pride, carried the spirit pearl, pursued by all, enjoying all the splendor of the world. Li Jue had felt unwilling. Why was fate so unfair? But only until this moment did he know. For the sake of pulling him out of the abyss, in the most clumsy way, his brother shouldered all the storms alone, just to earn a glimmer of hope for him. In a corner where no one knew, silently guarding him for 18 full years, Li Jue closed his eyes. When he opened them again, the rage and scarlet in his eyes faded, leaving only a deep, dark, and chilling coldness, making one's heart tremble. My silly brother, just wait. However, there is one thing I cannot understand. He turned around, looking at Li Longyue and Yang Yumei. Since the Lu family was willing to take out a treasure like the Jichen Fu Xie jade as a dowry, it shows that this marriage was a transaction from the beginning. Since it is a transaction, there must be a goal. Looking at it now, Lu Rian clearly prefers that Wang kid. Otherwise, it would be impossible for her to fool around with him while having an engagement. But since she has her heart set on someone else, why not just call off the engagement? Why keep cheating, while clutching the engagement tightly? What is she after from Li Yao? Or rather, what is she after from the Li family? What could make a woman maintain a marriage she doesn't want while enduring disgust? The benefits behind it must be significant. Li Longyue was silent for a moment, showing a complex expression, looking up at Li Jue. His gaze had a hint of surprise. Surprise that this son who had been imprisoned for 18 years, and never stepped into family affairs, had such keen insight. He took a deep breath, and spoke slowly, voice low. Do you know what the dowry we gave was? Li Jue's brows raised slightly. Being able to make the Lu family willingly pay with a family heirloom like the Jichen Fu Xie jade as a dowry. The Li family's dowry naturally couldn't be ordinary gold, silver, or jewelry, or mineral shops. He pondered slightly, and asked in a deep voice, what is it? Li Longyue didn't answer immediately, checking that there was no one else around. Only then did he slowly spit out 2 words, immortal token. The candle flames in the morning hall jumped violently, as if startled by these 2 words. Li Jue's pupils shrank, his mind shaken. Even though he had lived 2 lives, read countless online novels in his past life, and was used to all kinds of wild settings, he couldn't help but change his expression at this moment. Immortal token. The weight of these 2 words is too heavy. What is this? He suppressed the shock in his heart, and asked. Li Longyue stood with his hands behind his back, his gaze distant. The world knows the 9 realms of martial arts. Lower 3, quenching, Tongmai, Qi armor. Middle 3, innate, True Yuan, Grandmaster. Upper 3 are even more ethereal. Even in the entire Haoyue Empire, few can reach them. But above the 9 realms, there is another sky. Above martial arts practitioners, are immortals, riding clouds and mists, moving mountains and filling seas, lifespan of 1,000 years, breathing with heaven and earth. This threshold, ordinary martial artists cannot reach in their whole life, not because of insufficient talent, but because of the lack of a key. That key is the immortal token. Rumor has it that every 100 years, immortals bestow 4 immortal tokens, scattered in the 4 corners of the Haoyue Empire. Each token is proof of the path to immortality. If someone can collect all 4, it means this person has been recognized by the immortals. Possessing immortal destiny can obtain a chance to ask the immortal gate, a real opportunity for cultivation, not secular martial arts. The entire Haoyue Empire has only 4 in total, descending randomly, hidden secretly. No one knows where they will appear, or whose hands they will fall into. Maybe in the deep palace of the imperial capital, maybe in a deserted village shop, maybe buried 3 feet under the soil at our feet. Every time an immortal token appears, it is a storm of blood and rain that sweeps the entire empire. How many families passed down for hundreds of years have been wiped out overnight? How many chi armor and innate experts have fallen like rain fighting for an immortal token? Li Zhuo was moved as he listened. Remaining calm on the surface, he quickly digested this information. A clear logical chain already formed in his mind, and he said in a deep voice, "So, the Li family has an immortal token." Li Longyue nodded, a bitter smile rising on his lips. This immortal token, it's also the trick of fate. When your grandfather was still alive, he once saved a dying old beggar on a snowy night. The old beggar was full of injuries. At his last gasp, your grandfather had a compassionate heart, carried him home, sought medicine and doctors, nursed him for 3 full months. After the old beggar recovered, having nothing to repay, before leaving, he took out a black token from his chest, and stuffed it into your grandfather's hand, saying this was a great fortune, telling the Li family to keep it safe, then floated away, with no more news. Your grandfather only thought it was the raving of a madman, and casually threw the token into the corner of the warehouse, until years later, a wandering Taoist passed through Maoyun City, and accidentally sensed the aura of the immortal token in the Li family courtyard, kneeling on the ground, begging the Li family to let him take a look. Only then did your grandfather know that the old beggar he saved did not leave him a piece of scrap iron, but an immortal token that could drive the entire Haoyue Empire crazy. Li Zhuo listened, silent for a long time. The value of the immortal token can be imagined. This is a key to the path of immortality, the ultimate opportunity that countless martial artists dream of. But the more precious it is, the more dangerous it is to hold. The Li family was just a secular family in Maoyun City, without even an innate expert. Sitting on such an immortal token is like a 3-year-old holding a gold brick in the street. Once the news leaks, the disaster of family extermination is right before their eyes. Moreover, one immortal token is simply not enough. All 4 must be gathered to trigger the immortal destiny. The danger level of this process is far more fatal than just holding a treasure. Either you hide it forever and never use it, or you go and fight for the remaining 3 with the top powers of the entire Haoyue Empire. One small mistake, and the whole army is annihilated. Not even a dog or chicken left. The Li family chose to give the immortal token to the Lu family as a dowry, seemingly suffering a huge loss. But in reality, it was taking this time bomb out of their own pocket, and stuffing it into someone else's, getting rid of the hot potato, and exchanging it for the Jichen Fu Xie jade to suppress Li Zhuo's demonic nature. In Li Longyue's eyes at that time, this was a guaranteed win. And the Lu family? Of course the Lu family knew the risks of the immortal token, but they knew the value of the immortal token even more. They were willing to gamble, willing to exchange a family heirloom jade for a chance to ask the immortal gate, even if it was only a 1/4 chance. Even if this road was paved with bones and tears, the temptation of cultivation could make any rational person crazy. So, this is the whole story, Li Zhuo said slowly. Yaoer endured humiliation and let himself be bullied, just to suppress my demonic nature in exchange for the Jichen Fu Xie jade. Lu Ruyan, for the sake of the immortal token, was willing to maintain the engagement while holding her nose. Even if she already had someone else in her heart, she dared not call off the engagement, because if she did, the immortal token would be gone. Both took what they needed, one for his brother, one for profit. Neither owes the other, but Lu Ruyan shouldn't have. She shouldn't have been holding the Li family's immortal token, while cheating on Li Yao. If she really wanted profit, then quietly be her fiancé. Don't touch Wang Yangcheng. If she really liked Wang Yangcheng, then call off the engagement, and return the immortal token. Openly chase the person she wanted. But she wanted both. Wanted the opportunity of the immortal token, and wanted Wang Yangcheng's tenderness. What did she take Li Yao for? A fool? A stepping stone? Or a live cuckold who is easy to bully? Li Longyue and Yang Yume remained silent. No one refuted, because every word was a fact. A moment later, Li Zhuo suddenly looked up, gaze like lightning, piercing Li Longyue. Master Li, I have one more question. Li Longyue's heart felt sour again, but but he nodded. Say it. In this world, are there really immortals? The morning hall fell into a brief silence. Li Longyue opened his mouth, finally sighed heavily. I don't know either. Although the legend of the immortal token has circulated in the Haoyue Empire for hundreds of years, there are clear records of every appearance of an immortal token, but the people who truly gathered all four, and opened the immortal gate, never left their names in history books. Some say immortals are real, and the immortal token is the key to the immortal gate. Others say, this is just a hoax left by ancient masters. The immortal token is just some high-grade magic weapon, and the so-called immortal destiny is just rumor. I have lived half a life. Qi armor cultivation is considered a figure in Maoyun City, but looking at the Haoyue Empire, it's just a drop in the ocean. The appearance of an immortal, I have never seen, nor can I verify. Li Zhuo nodded, not asking further. Fair enough. Li Longyue is just a Qi armor family head in Maoyun City, considered an expert in this small, quiet city. But what level of existence is an immortal? An existence above the entire Haoyue Empire. An almighty being with the same lifespan as heaven and earth. If an immortal is a dimension, Li Longyue is the strongest ant in an anthill. No matter how strong, he can't see the knees of a person. How could he catch a glimpse of the traces of an immortal? Li Longyue saw him silent, thinking he was calculating the immortal token. The alarm bells in his heart rang, and he quickly stepped forward, persuading him earnestly. Zhuo, father knows what you are thinking. Immortal token, immortal destiny, becoming an immortal. Which martial artist is not tempted? But listen to father. Don't get involved in this road. Father has lived most of his life, seen how many stunning geniuses followed one after another for the ethereal word immortal. In the end, even their bones couldn't be found. The struggle for the immortal token is the cruelest Shura field in the entire Haoyue Empire. Qi armor realm is just cannon fodder inside. Innate realm can barely protect themselves. Even true Yuan or Grandmaster experts may not be the last to laugh. One small mistake, and life ends. The Li family has already lost Yaoer. Father cannot lose you again. Li Zhuo didn't answer. Go, take me, to clean up the Lu family. From now on, people of the Li family, in this world, do not need to bow to anyone. East of Maoyun City, at the end of Zhuke Street, a three-story pavilion stood majestically, with flying eaves and carved beams. A plaque of sandalwood hung above the main entrance, with three gilded characters written on it. Jin Yungu. The brushstrokes were lively like dragons and snakes, the gold paint shining under the sunlight, visible at a glance from half a street away. This was the Li family's largest industry, and the premier silk shop in Maoyun City. Pushing open the vermilion doors of Jin Yungu, what came into view were bolts of flowing silk, Shu brocade piled up like clouds, Su embroidery shimmering like ripples, Yun brocade weaving gold like a hanging galaxy. The first floor received retail customers, the second floor entertained VIPs, the third floor was a quiet room for custom tailoring, with 3 skilled old tailors stationed year-round. The dignitaries and wealthy merchants of Maoyun City, when making new clothes for festivals, all considered it an honor to step into Jin Yungu. It is said that even the wedding dress of the city lord's wife was custom-made by the tailors of Jin Yungu. Over these years, the Li family's industry has been eroded by the Lu family by nearly half. Mines occupied, grain shops seized, medicine shops forcibly robbed. The reason the Li family could still hold on without collapsing was because of this Jin Yungu. It was the Li family's last economic lifeline, and the last bit of decency the Li family had left in Maoyun City. If Jin Yungu also fell, the Li family would truly be left with only an empty shell. And at this moment, before the doors of this pavilion that carried the Li family's last hope, stood a few uninvited guests. The leader was short, with a bulging belly, draped in a well-tailored silk robe, wearing a high-quality mutton-fat jade pendant at his waist, dressed like a pretentious dog. This person was the manager of the Lu family's cloth store, Lu Sanqing, an expert in the internal energy realm, relying on the Lu family's backing, exclusively in charge of the extortion of Li family properties. To put it plainly, it was legal robbery, followed by 4 brawny men, all broad-shouldered and fierce-looking, uniformly thugs of the mid-to-late quenching realm. These people didn't even stand properly, some leaning against the door frame with crossed arms, some picking their noses in public, their greedy eyes scanning back and forth at the expensive silks inside Jin Yungu, just like a pack of hungry wolves staring at a fatted sheep waiting for slaughter. The head of Jin Yungu, Li Zhuang, stood before the door, blocking their path. Li Zhuang was 53 this year, lean and gaunt, temples gray, wrinkles crawling around his eyes. He was originally an outsider, coming to Moyun City as a refugee 20 years ago, penniless, clothes barely covering his body, almost freezing to death in a broken temple outside the city. Li Longyue took him in, not only giving him a bite to eat, but also discovering his extraordinary talent in the silk business, and promoting him beyond his rank, letting him start from the lowest menial task in the shop. Li Zhuang was grateful for the Li family's kindness, working diligently and loyally ever since, pouring his life's efforts into Jin Yungu, step by step, from a menial to an accountant, from an accountant to a manager, finally being granted the surname Li by Li Longyue, sitting in the position of the head of Jin Yungu. Over these 20 years, how many families had tried to poach him openly and secretly? The Wang family offered 3 times the salary. The Lu family promised him an independently operated branch. Even the city lord's mansion had extended an olive branch. Li Zhuang refused them all, without even lifting his eyelids. He said, his life was given by the Li family. His surname was bestowed by the Li family. Alive, he was a person of the Li family. Dead, he was a ghost of the Li family. This loyalty was famous in the merchant circles of Moyun City, also making countless people admire and find it baffling. But at this moment, the old manager's face showed helplessness. Manager Lu. Li Zhuang cupped his hands, his waist slightly bent, his posture very low. This month, you have already come for the 3rd time. The previous 2 times, the first time you took 300 taels of silver, calling it repair fees. The second time you took 500 taels, calling it security deposit. Adding up, it is already 800 taels of shining silver. Although Jin Yunji's business is okay, it is not a mountain of gold or a sea of silver. It cannot withstand such tossing. This 3rd time, before he finished speaking, Lu Sanqing yawned, and interrupted him with impatience. Old Li, you are not right in saying that. What is called tossing? Why do we, the Lu family, take this money? Isn't it to pave the way for you? You think we want to make this trip? My legs are thin from running. My shoes are worn out. We haven't cried hardship yet. Yet you start complaining first. Li Zhuang suppressed his anger, and smiled apologetically. Manager Lu, it's truly inconvenient today. There is no spare money in the shop's accounts. How about this? Wait 2 days until the new goods are sold. I will personally deliver the money to the Lu mansion. Fart. A bald thug behind Lu Sanqing cursed loudly. Don't try to fool us with this set. Jin Yungu makes money every day. Who in Moyun City doesn't know? You say no money. Think we are 3-year-old children? Li Zhuang's face turned pale. He took a deep breath, striving to keep his voice steady. Manager Lu, no matter how much Jin Yungu earns, it can't withstand coming to take it every few days. This month's income has already been taken by you all. Even the money for stocking goods has no source. The staff's wages are also owed and unpaid. It is really, please go back. After he finished, he bowed deeply, his waist bent to 90 degrees, his attitude respectful beyond reproach. But his feet blocking the door didn't move a bit. Lu Sanqing looked at Li Zhuang's unyielding appearance. The smile on his face turned cold bit by bit. He wasn't in a hurry, leisurely tidied his clothes, and paced to Li Zhuang, with a heartfelt appearance. I said, Old Li, why are you doing this? It's only the 3rd time and you can't stand it? After our young master marries our young lady, we will be one family. One family doesn't speak of 2 families' words. Why be so distant? Sooner or later we will merge. Giving early or giving late, what's the difference? Li Zhuang gritted his teeth, veins on his forehead jumping slightly, but still persuaded him with kind words. Manager Lu, that may be so, but after all, they are still 2 separate businesses. Since the wedding date is not set, this shop still bears the name Li. For you to come to the door 3 or 4 times to take money like this, it is unreasonable in reason and emotion. Please, take money. Lu Sanqing suddenly raised his volume, eyes revealing fierce light. I don't like to hear you say that. What is called taking money? This is protection money. It is what the Li family should offer to our Lu family. Without our Lu family covering you, could your Jin Yungu open steadily in Moyun City until today? Stop the nonsense. Today we came to collect the 4th protection money, 1,000 taels of silver. short 1 copper plate. My brothers won't leave. We will sit in your shop and drink tea. See who else dares to come in to buy cloth. Saying this, he waved his big hand. The 4 thugs behind him immediately rolled up their sleeves, and rushed into the shop like hungry wolves. The bald leader kicked over a stack of silks on the display table in front of the door. The brocade scattered all over the floor, trampled and filthy under shoe soles. Another grabbed a short stick, and smashed the neatly arranged fabrics on the shelves with a flurry. The sounds of smashing and cracking echoed in his ears. The remaining 2 were even more direct. One guarded the door to drive away the onlookers. One strode towards the counter, reaching out to grab the silver in the drawers. Stop! Li Zhuang's eyes were about to crack. He lunged and grabbed the bald guy's arm. You are outright robbing. Is there any law? Law? The bald guy shook him off. Li Zhuang staggered and hit the counter, a purple-blue bruise appearing on his forehead immediately. The bald guy looked down at the fallen old manager, grinned, revealing a mouthful of yellow teeth. In Maoyun City, the Liu family is the law. Outside the door, a large crowd of onlookers had already gathered. A sea of black heads surrounded the door of Jin Yungu. People whispered, pointing fingers, but not a single person dared to stand out and speak. Everyone had seen the Liu family's majesty in Maoyun City over the years. Whoever stood out would be unlucky. Right in the midst of this chaos, don't know who mentioned Li Yao's name in the crowd. Like a drop of water splashing into a pan of hot oil, the crowd became noisy for a moment. Coming, the young master of the Li family is coming. Why is the hair white, not black? This is young master Li Yao. Why does he look different? At the end of the crowd, a slender figure walked slowly along the bluestone road, white hair like snow, black clothes like an abyss. Liu Sanqing squinted his eyes, looking at the person coming from afar. His first reaction was also, why is the hair white? But he soon relaxed. White or black hair? Wasn't it still that Li Yao? Haven't seen him for a few days. Probably stimulated, and made himself look haggard. Just right. The more haggard, the easier to bully. He sneered in his heart, tidied his clothes, put on a fake smile, and greeted him with big strides, his tone as enthusiastic as an old friend reunited. Yo, young Master Li, you finally came. Where did you go to relax? Kept me waiting for a long time. While speaking, he rubbed his hands, and scanned Li Zhuo up and down, already calculating how much more silver he could squeeze this time. Liu Sanqing's gaze fell on Li Zhuo, already calculating how much more silver he could squeeze this time. Last time it was 800 taels. Li Yao gave it without a word. This time 1,000 taels. Just a matter of opening his mouth. Anyway, he knew the young master's temper thoroughly. Liu Sanqing greeted him with a smiling face, layers of wrinkles squeezing out of his greasy face, cupping his hands, posturing fully. He didn't put Li Yao in his eyes at all. A softy who had to take out silver whenever he saw him. Today, at most, waste a few more words, he would still be sent off. However, Li Zhuo walked past him, without stopping for a moment, eyes straight ahead, expressionless, as if this person Liu Sanqing didn't exist at all. He was left hanging there, still maintaining the cupped hand posture, the smile on his face frozen there, like a mask frozen, ridiculous and embarrassing. Li Zhuo walked straight to Li Zhuang, stood still, his gaze lingering on him for a moment, then slowly swept over the shelves smashed into pieces in the shop. Afterward, he took a deep breath, and said slowly, Old Li, these years, how much silver has Liu Sanqing taken from Jin Yungu? Li Zhuang was stunned, involuntarily opening his mouth. For a moment he didn't react, not because he didn't hear clearly, but because he couldn't believe it. He had served the Li family for over 20 years, and knew his young master too well. Young Master Li Yao would never ask about such things, not because he didn't care, but because he didn't dare to ask. Every time the Liu family caused trouble, he would personally take out silver to settle the matter, and after taking it out, would turn around to comfort Li Zhuang, saying not to hurt harmony, not to make Rian feel embarrassed. He never checked accounts, never investigated, as if as long as he didn't know the specific number, this humiliation wouldn't count as real. But today, the young master asked directly, without any ambiguity, and, the young master's aura, seemed different. Li Zhuang couldn't help but look up, examining the young man before him carefully. The face was still that face, features gentle as jade, no different from before, but those eyes hid a trace of chill. Li Zhuang's heart jumped violently. An absurd yet blood-pumping thought crossed his mind. Young master has changed, although he didn't know why he changed. But he knew, some things were different. Answering young master, Li Zhuang took a deep breath, suppressing the tremor in his heart, and bowed respectfully. The accounts are complex. I am old, and cannot remember accurately for a moment. Please wait a moment. Young master, I will go organize it. Every item, every coin, every tale, without omission. After speaking, he turned and left, his pace much faster than usual, even forgetting to wipe the wound on his forehead. Lu Sanqing was left hanging for a long time. The fake smile on his face could no longer be maintained. He stepped forward, blocking Li Zhuang's side, with obvious impatience in his voice. Young Master Li, what do you mean by this? My young lady said, if your attitude is bad this time, the protection money will have to increase. If you are sensible, shut up. Li Zhuang turned his head slowly, and said coldly, one more word, and I will tear your mouth apart. After he finished, the whole place was dead silent. Before the doors of Jin Yungu, the thick crowd of people seemed to have their throats pinched. All whispers stopped at the same moment. The air stagnated for 3 full breaths, and then someone gasped as if waking from a dream. I didn't hear wrong, right? What did young Master Li just say? Tear his mouth apart. That gaze, such a fierce gaze. I've been squatting at the door of Jin Yungu for 10 years. Never seen young Master Li show this expression. Isn't young Master Li famous for his good temper? Last time the Lu family people cursed him on the street, he just smiled and apologized. What's wrong with him today? Crazy? That's Lu Sanqing, a Lu family man. You hit him. Will the Lu family just let it go? But look at his gaze. Does that look like he's crazy? That is clearly the gaze of someone who wants to kill. The onlookers exploded. Even the Li family's own shop assistants were dumbfounded, looking at each other, suspecting they were dreaming. They had followed the young master for so many years. Who knew young Master Li Yao's character better than them? Kind-hearted, gentle as jade, never putting on airs with servants, never arguing with outsiders. Even when facing the Lu family's most extreme provocations, always remained gentle and calm, not even frowning once. But today, every word of the young master, every gaze, was like a different person. Could it be that the young master has really changed? Lu Sanqing was choked red by those 2 words, then turned white, and finally ashen. He was a dignified manager of the Lu family cloth store, with the cultivation of initial Tongmai realm, also a person of status in Moyun City. Yet he was scolded to shut up in public by a softy he was used to bullying. How could he swallow this breath? He stretched his neck, his chest heaving violently, pointing at his own nose and shouting, Young Master Li, get it straight. I am the Lu family. Before he finished speaking, Li Zhuang's hand moved, only heard a crisp sound, crisp and clean, like a whip striking ice, vibrating everyone's eardrums. Lu Sanqing's head tilted violently to one side. The whole person was slapped so his feet left the ground. Saliva mixed with blood drew an arc in midair. His fat body stumbled and turned half a circle. If it weren't for a thug behind him who was quick-witted and supported him, he would have fallen on the spot. On his left cheek, 5 fingerprints swelled up at a speed visible to the eye, purple and red, like branded with a hot iron. A crack split the corner of his mouth. Blood dripped down his chin onto his clothes, staining the mutton-fat jade pendant he meticulously maintained. At this moment, Lu Sanqing's eyes widened, his pupils full of unbelievable shock. He couldn't believe it. The entire Moyun City couldn't believe it. Young Master Li actually took action. Young Master Li actually hit a Lu family man. This scene exploded like thunder. The young master of the Li family who didn't fight back even when called a loser. Li Yao who hadn't dared to breathe for 2 full years while the Lu family rode on his head. Today, on this long street, under the gaze of hundreds of onlookers, hit Lu Sanqing, cleanly, without mercy. Just then, Li Zhuang walked out quickly from behind the counter, holding a thick account book. He flipped through the pages while walking, counting numbers, his voice urgent and hoarse, carrying uncontrollable excitement. Young master, I did a rough calculation. For 2 years, the silver taken by Lu Sanqing from Jin Yungu under various pretexts, added to the discounted value of smashed and damaged goods, totaling, suddenly, The voice stopped abruptly, because he saw Lu Sanqing's face swollen into a pig's head. There was a bloodstain on the young master's well-defined hand that didn't belong to him. Li Zhuang was stunned. The account book trembled slightly in his hand, but the light in his old eyes brightened bit by bit. And then, this old manager who was over 50 years old, who had spent decades in the business world of Moyun City, and had seen all kinds of storms, used all his strength, and shouted a sentence that shook everyone present. Young master, you have finally awakened. Heaven has eyes. In his lifetime, Li Zhuang never dared to imagine that he could see this day. He didn't dare to resent the young master, knowing the young master's difficulties, the engagement pressing down, the spirit pearl's innate goodness bounding him, Lu Rian manipulating from behind. What could the young master do? He was just an old manager. What he could do was manage the accounts well, guard the shop, and then on every late night, sigh silently at the ever-increasing deficit in the account book. But today, he saw the young master's hand swing out, saw the 5 blood-red fingerprints bloom on Lu Sanqing's arrogant fat face, saw the rogue who had been riding on the Li family for 3 whole years, stumble back before the young master, like a stray dog with its spine broken. Li Zhuang's hands couldn't stop trembling, bringing the thick account book in his arms to rattle. He had recorded these accounts for 3 years, never taken them out, because the young master wouldn't look before, wouldn't ask, much less settle this debt for them. But today, the young master asked, "What does this mean?" Li Zhuang's breathing suddenly became rapid. A layer of hot water mist rose in his turbid old eyes. His heartbeat was so fast it seemed like it would jump out of his throat. He didn't dare to continue thinking, afraid it would be too beautiful and end up as nothing. But he couldn't help but think, what if the young master really is different? On the long street outside Jinyungu, the onlooker's reaction was more direct than his. "I didn't see wrong, right? That is young master Li. Young master Li Yao. He just hit Lu Sanqing. Really hit. Not acting. Ghost of a chance. I have lived in this Moyun city for 40 years. This young master Li is famous for his bodhisattva heart. Today, why did he take action? More than just taking action. Look at Lu Sanqing's face, swollen like a pig's head, slapped into this state. How much strength did he use? Did young master Li take the wrong medicine today or what? Take what medicine? In my opinion, he was forced into a corner. Even a rabbit will bite when forced. The Lu family has gone too far these years. I couldn't endure it either if it were me. That's how you say it. But that is young master Li Yao after all. I still can't believe it to this day. Feels like I'm dreaming. The discussions in the crowd were overwhelming. Wave after wave. Moyun City had been too calm for too long. The entanglements between the Lu and Li families had played out on this street countless times. But the ending of every time was without suspense. Lu family causes trouble. Li Yao pays money. Everyone watches a suspense-free scene, then disperses. But today is different. The one beaten is Lu Sanqing. The one beating is Li Yao. Lu Sanqing clutched half his face. The skin under his palm was burning with pain, as if branded by a hot iron, staring at the white-haired youth in front of him in disbelief. The reprimand that had reached his lips was forcibly swallowed back. Lu Sanqing shuddered, wisely shutting his mouth. He was not a fool. Having mixed in the Lu family for so many years, climbing from a small thug to the position of cloth store manager, he relied on reading expressions, bullying the weak and fearing the strong, bullying Li Yao as a soft persimmon. He was familiar with the path. But today, the aura emitted by this young master of the Li family was like a different person. He didn't dare to talk back, at least not for now. He clutched his cheek and retreated into the thugs. But his eyes were still rolling. He was waiting for the young lady to come. Once the young lady arrives, let's see how he stays rampant. Li Zhuo didn't look at him much. He turned around, facing Li Zhuang, his tone as calm as usual. Old Li, list out the losses caused by the Lu family to Jinyungu these years. The silver extorted, the goods forcibly seized, one by one, every item, without omission. Li Zhuang felt a shiver run down his spine, suddenly recovering from his daze, straightening his back. Yes, young master, I have been prepared, just waiting for this word from you. Lu Sanqing and others, 3 years ago in spring, extorted 80 taels of silver in the name of New Year's gift, saying it was for the Lu family grandmother's birthday, but not even an invitation was sent. Upon investigation, that day the Lu family grandmother had already passed away for 2 years. The Lu family never held any birthday banquet. Early last year, Lu Sanqing led people to smash the doors, windows, and furniture of the third-floor elegant room of Jin Yun-gu, damaging a sandalwood carved screen, and a pair of former dynasty official kiln porcelain vases. The reason was, hospitality was not good. The tea was too cold. Afterward, young master, you withdrew 500 taels of silver from Jin Yun-ji's account to compensate the Liu family, and the repair fees cost an additional 200 taels, all borne by Jin Yun-gu itself. Last Mid-Autumn Festival, the Liu family, in the name of joint inspection, intercepted a cargo team from Jin Yun-gu to the capital, totaling 3 carts of goods, including 10 bolts of gold-threaded brocade, 20 bolts of silver-threaded satin, 50 bolts of top-grade hang silk, total value equivalent to 600 taels of silver. The cargo team manager has been missing ever since. The Liu family claimed encountered mountain bandits, but within 100 miles of Moyun City, where would there be mountain bandits? It is clearly thieves crying thief. Li Zhuang read more and more excitedly, old tears surging again. Above total, silver equivalent to gold, 3,000 taels exactly, 3,000 taels of gold. This number hit the crowd like a giant rock, stirring up 1,000 layers of waves. The onlookers gasped in unison. Exclamations came one after another, unceasing. What is the concept of 3,000 taels of gold? For an ordinary family of commoners in Moyun City, the total expenditure for a year is no more than 8 or 9 taels of silver. Even the more well-off ones are no more than 10 or 20 taels. 3,000 taels of gold. Enough for an ordinary family to live without worry for 300 years. Enough to buy an entire street of shops in Moyun City. Enough to let a fallen household climb into the city's first-class families overnight. And Liu Sanqing, just a manager of a Liu family cloth store, what he extorted from Jin Yun-gu in 3 years, was such an astronomical figure. Li Zhuo listened, his face without any expression. Liu Sanqing, listen clearly. 3,000 taels of gold. Hand it over today, and you can leave. If you can't hand it over, don't even think about stepping out of this door. Liu Sanqing was dumbfounded. 3,000 taels of gold. Are you kidding? The money he took from Jin Yun-gu over the years, most of it was offered to the higher-ups of the Liu family. Less than 1/10 really fell into his own pocket. If this account is recognized, don't say he is just a small cloth store manager. Even the Liu family behind him might not be able to readily take out such a large sum of cash for a while. What's more, why should he recognize it? Impossible. Liu Sanqing roared. This number is absolutely not that much. There is a problem with the accounts. Li Zhuang, you old dog, you dare to keep fake accounts to frame me. How much money does your Jin Yun-gu make in 3 years? 3,000 taels of gold. You can say that. Your Li family is clearly robbing. Fake accounts? Li Zhuo sneered. Then let me ask you, the staff of Jin Yun-gu were beaten and injured by you repeatedly. Isn't the medical expense money? The shop was smashed and repaired. Smashed again. Isn't the repair expense money? The goods you forcibly seized have been delayed for 3 years. Isn't the time cost money? And the manpower and energy consumed by the Li family up and down because of your extortion, the damaged reputation and prestige, do these not count as money? Liu Sanqing twitched the corner of his mouth, his brain buzzing, involuntarily bubbling out a sentence. This also works? Delay cost, labor cost, loss cost, this also counts? Your Li family is clearly lion opening mouth, scamming people. Give or not give? Li Zhuo only asked 3 words. Liu Sanqing's heart panicked, cold sweat on his back soaking his inner clothes. The Li Yao he knew would never really get angry, never really take action, always loud thunder, small rain, and finally let it go. Yes, he must be bluffing. He doesn't dare to. He absolutely doesn't dare to. He is just scaring people. Wait for him to soften his stance. He will go down the slope, like the previous few times. Maybe the price can even be pressed down a bit. Impossible. Liu Sanqing gritted his back teeth. His neck stiffened, roaring out 3 words with his last ounce of courage. I don't recognize the account. If you have the ability. Before he finished speaking, a cold light flashed across everyone's field of vision, fast as a line of frost and snow flashing under the sun. Blood sprayed. Hot blood droplets splashed onto the bluestone in front of Jin Yun-gu. At the same time, a sharp and shrill scream tore tore the silence of the long street. Ah, one sword sealing the throat. The evil slave fell to the ground, dead. Li Zhuo flicked the blood off the blade, his gaze icy, voice deep. You thought I was joking? Killing. On the blue stone in front of Jin Yungu, scarlet blood spread along the stone seams, soaking the dust, staining the wild grass in the gaps red. The evil slave who was smashing the counter just a moment ago, now lay on his back in the pool of blood, a thin and long knife mark on his throat constantly oozing blood. His eyes widened, pupils scattered, dying without a scream, dying on the spot. The onlookers were like being poured with ice water. The noisy discussions fell into dead silence. Really killing. The great good person praised by everyone in Maoyun City. The spirit pearl genius who always cherished living things. Li Zhuo, who had endured and yielded to the Lu family's bullying for 3 years, today under the gaze of hundreds of eyes on Zhuke Street, personally took a life. In the front row of the crowd, a middle-aged man retreated repeatedly, back hitting the crowd wall, voice trembling uncontrollably. I saw it with my own eyes. Just one knife, fast that I couldn't even see the shadow. Heaven, young Master Li has always been unable to bear even harming ants. How could he kill? The most frightening thing is his gaze. No anger, no madness throughout. Killing like cutting grass or chopping vegetables. Too bizarre. Today he dared to kill a Lu family member. The 3 families will definitely not let it go. The fragmented discussions surged low. No one dared to speak loudly again. Everyone subconsciously held their breath, looking at the youth in the center of the pool of blood with dread. White hair stained with blood, expression calm enough to make one's back cold. Lu Sanqing sat on the ground, his whole body shaking like a chaff sifter, face pale, lips cyan purple. That knife just now was close at hand. He clearly felt the chill of the blade, smelled the smell of blood mixed with rust. The hot blood sprayed by the deceased splashed half his face, hot and warm, sliding down the bridge of his nose. But he was too scared to wipe it. For 3 years, he had extorted and humiliated Li Zhuo countless times, led people to smash Jin Yungu, robbed property, but Li Zhuo always yielded gently, enduring with tolerance, without half a complaint. He always thought Li Zhuo was weak and cowardly by nature, a snake with its teeth pulled out, having only the false name of a genius, without any deterrent power. Even secretly mocked Li Zhuo for not even daring to hurt rats or ants. But at this moment, this weak snake he had despised for 3 years, suddenly revealed its fangs, crisp and clean, bit off a human life. Lu Sanqing's mind was blank. The arrogance and tyranny of the past, the reliance on the Lu family's backing, all shattered under this knife. He finally realized with hindsight that he felt bone-chilling cold. He had never truly understood Li Zhuo. 3 years of endurance was never cowardice, but a tiger crouching, closing its eyes to rest. And he himself was that fool who provoked the tiger's whiskers repeatedly without knowing life from death. Li Zhuang was excited, raising his hand to wipe tears wantonly. The grievance suppressed for 3 years, dissipated at this moment. For 3 years, Lu Sanqing had come to provoke and rob repeatedly. He wanted to risk his life to confront him several times, but endured it time and again. Now, the young master personally settled the score, enjoying vengeance, clean and neat. 30 years of following. He had never been as proud as he was today. Only Li Zhuo. His expression remained calm from beginning to end. No excitement of killing, no pleasure of revenge, only indifference, as if the one he had just slaughtered was never a human life, but just a few noisy, annoying ants. At the same time, a familiar voice rang in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for killing an evil slave. Gained 4 points of evil turbidity. Good guy. An evil slave actually carries 4 innocent lives under his belt. Truly deserved to die. Li Zhuo tilted his head slightly, gaze falling back on the frightened Lu Sanqing. Tone plain and waveless, without any emotion. Hand over, or not. Lu Sanqing shivered all over in an instant, tears and snot flowing, wailing for mercy. Young Master Li, 3,000 taels of gold is really too much. I really can't take it out. Please show mercy. I will definitely do my best to raise it when I go back. Fine. Li Zhuo interrupted lightly, the corner of his lips hooked into a cold arc. This is what you said yourself. Before the words finished, his figure suddenly swept out. No flashy moves, no complex opening, only extreme speed and precision. The simplest thrust, wipe, slash, transformed into a life-taking blade in his hands. Knife light cold, harvesting life. The second evil slave turned in fear to escape, only took half a step. Cold light had already passed through the neck. Fresh blood sprayed, staining half the face of the stone lion in front of the door. The man clutched his neck tightly, bubbles of blood surging from his throat, stumbled 2 steps, fell down with a thud. No movement. The third evil slave struggled in his death throes, picking up a short stick and rushing over madly. Li Zhuo dodged the heavy blow lightly, actions as light as fallen leaves avoiding stones. The short knife wiped horizontally. The blade pierced through the chest and abdomen. The evil slave rushed forward 2 steps by inertia, his body strangely misplaced, falling heavily, viscera and blood flowing all over the floor. The last evil slave had already been scared out of his wits, giving up all resistance, kneeling on the ground with a thud, his forehead slamming heavily against the bluestone, making a thudding sound, crying for mercy incoherently. Li Zhuo walked up slowly, looking down, his gaze without a trace of pity or hesitation. Knife light flashed, the shrill begging stopped abruptly, his body swayed, and fell straight to the ground, the bump on his forehead not yet healed, another fatal wound added to his neck. Ding! Congratulations to the host for killing an evil slave. Gained 3 points of evil turbidity. Ding! Congratulations to the host for killing an evil slave. Gained 2 points of evil turbidity. Ding! Congratulations to the host for killing an evil slave. Gained 3 points of evil turbidity. In an instant, blood flowed all over the ground in front of Jin Yungu. The bluestone was completely soaked in scarlet, no longer able to see the original color. Blood winding along the stone seams, shining with a dazzling cold light in the sunlight. The rich smell of blood drifted along the wind half the length of Zhuke Street, choking the onlookers who retreated, covering their faces deathly pale. The scene of extreme carnage made everyone feel bone-chilling cold. The onlookers' shock turned into fear deep in their marrow. The crowd kept retreating, stamping and low calls rising one after another. The cowardly women didn't dare to look directly, hurriedly squeezing out of the crowd to escape. Killed them all. Lu family people, not one left. Never seen such ruthless means. Young Master Li has completely changed. This speed, this knife technique, where can ordinary cultivators compare? How much strength did he hide? No change of expression throughout. Killing people like killing chickens or sheep. Where is this the spirit pearl genius? Clearly a god of slaughter in the world. The overwhelming discussions, the warm blood remaining on the blade, dropping one by one onto Lu Sanqing's collar, seeping into the skin, bringing bone-chilling cold. Li Zhuo stood above him, questioning, one last time, hand over, or not. Lu Sanqing fell into despair. Corpses all over the ground, hot blood by his feet, the fishy sweetness that never dispersed from the tip of his nose. All were bluntly telling him, Li Zhuo was never negotiating, but a unilateral ultimatum. Not recognizing the debt means dying on the spot, suffering the same fate as the others. But 3,000 taels of gold, he was simply unable to bear it, much less report it to the Lu family. Recognizing the debt, he would definitely be severely punished by the Lu family upon returning. Escaping death is impossible. Not recognizing the debt, he would be headless here at this moment. Advancing or retreating was a dead end. Extreme fear collapsed all his dignity. Warm liquid flowed down his pants, pooling into a puddle of water at his feet, fishy and mixed with blood, permeating the air. The humiliation of wetting himself in public was already irrelevant. Lu Sanqing convulsed all over, tears and snot flowing, hands together desperately kowtowing, tone humble and desperate. I hand over. I hand over. Young Master Li, spare my life. Please reduce some. 1,500 taels. I really can't raise 3,000 taels. Please show mercy. Li Zhuo shook his head lightly, tone indifferent and cold, without a trace of room for turning. No, 3,000 taels of gold, not one bit less. Lu Sanqing lost all strength, collapsing to the ground, completely drained of all energy. He understood. Today was already a dead end, caught in between. His life was as cheap as grass, unable to escape, throat rolling, only emitting broken whimpers, without a single word left, just in this pool of blood and dead silence, with the deadlock hard to break. A high-pitched report suddenly exploded from behind the crowd, piercing the noise of the street, pulling back everyone's gaze. Miss Lu Ruyan is here. Hearing this, Lu Sanqing showed an excited look. Saved. As long as the eldest miss appears, Li Zhuo would definitely obediently bow his head, put away his fangs, and go back to being that licking dog begging for pity. For 3 years, which time was not like this. The eldest miss frowns, Li Yao would lower his voice and coax. The eldest miss stomps, Li Yao would eagerly gather around to apologize. Diligent and devoted, humble to the bone. Who in the entire Moyun city doesn't know? doesn't know, today, would be no exception. The eldest miss is young Master Li Jua's heart's meat, the pearl in his palm, the bright moon in his eyes. The lives of these servants are no better than ants in the eldest miss's eyes. But the eldest miss's face, how dare Li Jua not care? How dare he? He secretly looked up, glancing at the white-haired figure in the middle of the pool of blood. A distorted pleasure even arose in his heart. So what if you are fierce? So what if you are ruthless? In front of the eldest miss, don't you still have to kneel obediently? Seeing the young master silent for a long time, Li Zhuang was uneasy, moving half a step closer and lowering his voice. Testing, young master, how about, let it go, 3,000 taels of gold. After all, it's not a small sum. The Lu family sighed. Li Jua paused slightly, glanced at him sideways, lips moving. Unquestionable. Much, not a bit too much. Whoever comes today, it is this price. Li Zhuang's throat rolled. The hanging heart quietly fell back, but quietly pulled up half an inch, listening to the young master's tone. Even if Lu Ruyan comes in person, I am afraid she can't get any benefit. But he finally didn't dare to be completely relieved. That is Lu Ruyan after all. It is Lu Ruyan who the young master had missed for 3 years, endured for 3 years, and never even said a heavy word about. Hopefully so. Li Zhuang clenched his fists in his sleeves, took a deep breath, stepped back half a step, waiting for fate to fall. The crowd suddenly split into a gap, as if pushed aside from the middle by an invisible palm. Fragrant wind arrived before the person, slipping into the rich smell of blood, actually forcing to dilute a few points of the smell of rust. The fragrance was clear and rich. It is top-grade condensed dew floral fragrance. Ordinary families can't buy half a bottle even if they exhaust their family fortune. Lu Ruyan stepped across the threshold of Jin Yungu, jade feet not yet settled. Lu Sanqing fell to his knees with a thud, kneeling and rushing under her skirt, crying and complaining. Miss, save this servant. Young Master Li is going to rebel. He killed everyone, killed them all, and wants me to hand over 3,000 taels of gold. Miss, if you don't come, I will die here too. Crying until breathless, his forehead bumped and broken, blood mixed with tears blurring his face, but completely unaware of the pain, with only the instinct to survive. Lu Ruyan's footsteps stalled, willow brows slightly furrowed. She lowered her beautiful eyes, gaze sweeping over the crimson ground. Several corpses lying in the pool of blood in disarray, dying miserably. Throat, chest and abdomen, side of the neck, every knife fatal. Bloodstains not yet dry, shining with a dazzling dark red in the sunlight. Afterward, pupils shrank, her delicate body swayed slightly. A low gasp escaped her lips, subconsciously stepping back half a step, covering her nose and mouth with her slender hand. A flash of terror in her eyes. Those outfits, the patterns of the Lu family disciples, she knew them too well. How could they die before the doors of Jin Yungu? Die at the hands of Li Jua, and 3,000 taels of gold. Are you kidding me? Lu Ruyan took a deep breath, her chest heaving, putting down the hand covering her mouth. Beautiful eyes sharp, with a condescending questioning. Li Jua, what on earth are you doing? Do you know that doing this will destroy the relationship we have worked so hard to maintain? Now, immediately, at once, apologize to me, and compensate 1,000 taels of gold. Let's just let it go. I, Lu Ruyan, am magnanimous, will not pursue it. After speaking, she slightly raised her chin, waiting for Li Jua to apologize in a low voice as usual, tone assertive, posture condescending. Li Jua stood quietly in place, lowering his eyes to examine this legendary eldest miss of the Lu family. Had to admit, this skin truly deserved the praise of the #1 beauty in Maoyun City. Draped in brocade, outlining a graceful figure, skin like fat, breakable by a blow, waist like a contract, unable to be held, features carved like a masterpiece that a craftsman exhausted his life to carve. Just looking at the skin, it was perfect, perfect like a meticulously crafted porcelain doll. However, under the skin, there was nothing. Stuffed in the porcelain doll was nothing but rotting and stinking straw. The bones were snake-hearted, the surface was ice-clear and jade-clean, relying on a bit of beauty, playing with men like dogs, playing with others' sincerity in her palm, and then throwing it heavily to the ground, stepping into the mud, grinding into powder. Over the past 3 years, his own silly brother held her in his palm, afraid of dropping her, held her in his mouth, afraid of melting her, exhausting everything, digging/pouring his heart, wishing to dig his heart out to show her. in exchange for nothing but summoning when needed, and dismissing when not needed. When happy, throw a bone, and he would happily wag his tail. When not happy, kick away, and complain that he is blocking the road. The ridiculous thing is, this woman was stupid without self-awareness, stupid enough to think all the men in the world should kneel at her feet, stupid enough to think that face was a token that could pass through the world, stupid enough to think that if she frowned, all men would be scared out of their wits, and kneel to beg for mercy. With this condescending attitude, only his stupid brother who was obsessed with her would eat this set, not wanting to destroy the engagement, was just wanting to keep that jade pendant. For that jade pendant, his brother was willing to be a licking dog for 3 years, willing to swallow his pride, willing to be mocked by the entire Moyun city. But today, Li Jue's lips hooked, the smile icy. What did he care about some damn jade pendant? What did he care about some damn engagement? So what if he breaks off the engagement? Lu family, eldest miss, peerless beauty, nothing more than this. He suddenly chuckled, and said, "Bitch, I have endured you for a long time. As the saying goes, words are not amazing enough to die." Lu Ruyan was called a bitch for the first time in her life, and the person who cursed her was Li Jue, who had been licking and obedient to her for 3 years. She even suspected that her ears had gone wrong, whether it was because she had been working too hard recently, and had auditory hallucinations. But the gaze of Li Jue in front of her was bone-chilling cold, not like a joke at all. Until this moment, Lu Ruyan realized with hindsight, Li Yao really was insulting her. Today's Li Yao was completely different from the past, full head of white hair like snow, revealing a sickly paleness, as if just recovered from a serious illness, probably because of what happened a few days ago. A vague thought flashed through Lu Ruyan's heart, but she didn't have time to think too much. Before being swallowed by unprecedented humiliation, she, Lu Ruyan, the #1 beauty in Moyun City, the eldest daughter of the Lu family, held in the palm since she was a child, held on the tongue, worshipped on the shrine. When had she ever suffered such an insult? "You dare to curse me?" Lu Ruyan's voice trembled, beautiful eyes wide open, looking at the white-haired youth in front of her in disbelief. Li Jue looked at her quietly, gaze indifferent. He was not the younger brother who was a lamb to be slaughtered. He was Li Jue, ruthless, doesn't say much. 3,000 taels of gold, not one bit less. Otherwise, you, Miss Lu, also have to stay here today. Lu Ruyan didn't even think, and blurted out, "No, absolutely impossible. 3,000 taels of gold, why doesn't he go rob?" The Lu family's annual income was only so much. Although she was the eldest daughter, the private money she could move wouldn't exceed a few hundred taels. 3,000 taels. Isn't this taking her life? She subconsciously thought. Li Yao was just bluffing, just changing the way to ask for benefits. At the bone, he was still that licking dog who was submissive, as long as she held firm and didn't let go. What could he do? What did he dare to do? Li Jue smiled. "This is what you said yourself." Before the words finished, his figure had already swept out. Knife light flashed, fast that Lu Ruyan didn't even see clearly how he took action. She only felt a gust of wind sweeping past her ears, lifting a few strands of hair, and then heard a muffled groan from behind. Lu Sanqing's eyes widened suddenly, only emitting a muffled sound. A short knife penetrated his chest. The tip of the knife penetrated from his back. Crimson blood droplets slid down the edge of the blade, reflecting a dazzling light in the sunlight. He lowered his head, looking at the blood seeping from his chest in disbelief. Blood foam surging in his throat. The gurgling sound made one's scalp tingle. "Duh, eldest miss." Lu Sanqing turned his head with difficulty, looking in Lu Ruyan's direction, his eyes full of despair. He died without understanding. Why? Why did the eldest miss arrive? And Li Yao still dared to take action. Why did he even bring out the eldest miss? And Li Yao didn't even blink.